Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Sign in a new species every day. Chapter 81. In the surveillance, it was not even visible that Minghui and Yingyu moved their hands. After watching the surveillance, Lu Xuanji looked at the people in the city security headquarters without saying a word. They even have no evidence to accuse it of own summons killing people, let alone just to protect own property. After the new day, some regional cities will have their own regional characteristics of capable persons bills, but they are all formulated on the basis of respecting and not violating the National Capable Persons Bill. In view of the particularity of the capable group, compared with ordinary people, the Capable Persons Act clearly stipulates that the property of capable persons shall be protected by law, and those with high rank ability shall not be forcibly deprived or possessed by any means or excuses. This is a regulation that favors the protection of low-level abilities. Whether it can take effect is often a matter of opinion. But in fact, this law has the same protective effect on people with high and low-level abilities, but I have never heard that people with low-level abilities dare to infringe on the property of people with high-rank abilities. Isn't this looking for death? Therefore, the interpretation in society is usually that people with high-rank ability must not use any excuses or means to illegally occupy the property of people with low-rank ability. Regarding disputes between capable persons, there is another provision in the bill that when both parties have obvious hatred or entanglements, life and death duels can be carried out without affecting ordinary people and capable persons outside the case. Except in some special places, official law enforcers need not intervene. There are also several supplementary regulations in this article. For example, those with the ability to win will compensate for the items they have destroyed, and the family members of those with hostile ability that are not involved in the dispute shall not be involved. If there are two rival forces that cannot be reconciled because of the dispute, they must fight each other, and they can apply for an official witness and proceed in the form of an agreed gambling fight. If a certain capable force does not have a clear criminal act, but is coveted by another force, if there is no reason to target it, you can apply for official mediation and protection, etc. This is the currently imperfect Capable Persons Act. It is officially stipulated in this way, but it is not sure whether it will take effect or not. In the current situation, the government has no extra power to ensure that every item in the Able Persons Act can be fully complied with and exert its effect. Even, in many cases, they have to make compromises in the formulation of the bill to give more freedom to those with militant ability. There is only one reason, and the official power can't control it. Regardless of those major events, it's already exhausted. This kind of dispute between individuals with specific abilities is really powerless. In today's situation, those few things that are not eye-opening dare to steal the property of someone with a stronger ability than their own, which is completely an act of seeking death by themselves. If it weren't for the city security headquarters, people in the city guard wouldn't have to follow the regulations of the People of Ability Act. But since the people from the city security headquarters are here, what they represent is the official itself, and there is no compromise on this point. Huang Dao glanced at Lu Xuanjia. It is preliminarily determined that your summoned creatures were too well protected. They could have subdued the thief and let us deal with it. So, Lu Xuanjia asked, narrowing his eyes. Cough. Fine 3,000, write a letter of regret, and seal it with the file. The three of them glanced at each other, and Huang Dao coughed dryly. This is the lowest penalty for Lu Xuanji to be dealt with in accordance with the Ability Act. Although some are afraid of angering this madman, Huang Dao and others still have to try to abide by the act of the People of Ability and preserve the official image. Repentance. How about you write it for me? It is not a big deal and acceptable if a few people died and find it. However, Lu Xuanji said that I don't want to write a repentance. Presumptuous. Don't take it into account. We will write to you. What is it called? A book of regret? One of the fifth order ability people jumped at the corner of his eyes, and asked Lu Xuanji a little angrily. They usually go out to represent the city's security headquarters, and few people will not give it this way. Even if it is dealing with the powers of those who are not low in ability, regrets, etc., they must be privately ghosted to write casually. Then I dare not be so arrogant, let the people of the city security headquarters write in person. Anything. Brother, I think you can do it. Lu Xuanji looked at the man and said. Huang Dao quickly pulled him back and said with a smile. No problem, it's a small matter, you don't need to be familiar with him. Then this thing, that's it. Did you write it down? Huang Dao asked. looking at the civilian staff of the city security guard who was in charge of recording records. Take it down. Well, the fine, please tell us back to the security guard. By the way, we have just investigated the identities of these thieves. Although they attempted to steal, they also had the fault of offending a person with high rank ability. You can file a compensation lawsuit against their family members. Huang Dao from a security guard. He grabbed a file bag in his hand and handed it to Lu Xuanji. The world of the future belongs to the strong. The Act for People with Ability has regulations to protect people with low-level abilities, and naturally there are regulations for preferential treatment of people with high-rank abilities. However, it is still the beginning of the new day. Before the new day, the social ideology of pursuing equality and fairness, such unfair regulations, are not many, nor are they excessively exaggerated. For a while, only hearing Huang Dao's voice, Lu Xuanjia was silent. The smile on Huang Dao's face was a bit stiff. As a person from the city security headquarters, he rarely laughed at others like this. If Lu Xuanji gets angry, I'm afraid this incident will not end well. Abilities Act, Lu Xuanji said. Everyone looked at him with nervous expressions unconsciously. Good. We are all good citizens who abide by laws and regulations, so we will act according to the law. Lu Xuanji continued, and Huang Dao and others were relieved. Are you really going to return to the security guard with them? Lu Xuanji was about to pay the fine. Du Nansheng pulled his sleeve and asked. Although Xiao Yin had already issued an invitation to Lu Xuanji for the military department, after all, whether it was the above order or the news and public opinion outside, Lu Xuanji was considered a thug and needed to be arrested. I was afraid that some people would not open their eyes. What a trap. Lu Xuanji smiled. There is nothing to hesitate about this. The security guards are nothing but a dragon's lair. If he was so easy to catch, Xiao Yin would not send himself an invitation from Jin Zhao from the Academia Sinica and the military ministry. Yes, cooperate with each other, everyone is better off. However, looking at this mess, I am afraid I can't say goodbye to you officially today. See you at the Academia Sinica. Young man, I am optimistic about you. Lu Xuanji patted Du Nansheng on the shoulder, saying meaningfully. There are not many people like you who are truly righteous. Last time the mall threatened me to beat you, and the grudge that split my arm with a green onion, let's slowly settle it. When the city security guard, Lu Xuanji and others came, it was quite lively here, and many people came in and out. To deal with the case of the Sky City crash in the past few days, on the one hand, we must pay attention to the crimes that may be caused by the turmoil, strengthen public security patrols, and on the other hand, we must cooperate with major newspapers to hold press conferences from time to time to release the latest case progress. In short, both the local security guards and those from the headquarters above are very busy. Seeing Lu Xuanji and others appear, these busy workers couldn't help but stop and look more. What's the situation? This group of people is so strong, it looks like a leader is inspecting, and I haven't heard of a leader coming down today. Lord Jinwu is. At this time, Jingo was in the office of the security guard chief and was on a video call with own boss. Boss, what do you mean by the military? Did you just let this mob aside? This is not the military department in my mind. Can't they send more 9th level masters? No matter what, the latest power shaker and 3rd level power booster weapons are more equipped, and I am afraid that they will not be caught. To a thug, Jin Wu complained to the video in dissatisfaction. Power weapons are also divided into many types and grades, such as the most common power weapons, the full name is power booster guns. The capable person transfers their own power into the power gun through the energy collection device of the firearm, and the firearm converts the energy, launching a bullet-like but more powerful attack. The power guns on the market that can be bought and sold at will, and the strength of the direct effect of the contrast ability is between 5% and 15%, which can only be regarded as a first-level augmentation weapon. In the amplification weapon, the higher the level number, the stronger the amplification ability. The 3rd level augmentation weapon is the limit that can be reached by today's most cutting-edge supersonic technology. In addition to the ability firearms, there are also specially customized power amplifiers, like those used by the 6th-tier guardians of the Xinchen Research Institute. This customized ability booster can also boost abilities, but not in the form of firearms or bullets. The user can use the power of the boost with any means he originally possessed, but the power is stronger. Compared with the super-powered weapon, this super-powered weapon is more flexible, but it is more expensive and more complicated. There are also a variety of other power weapons. The military has the most advanced power weapons research institute and military factory in the Dragon Kingdom. A fully armed Tier 9 capable person can increase its strength by at least 20%. 5 ordinary Tier 9 players with complete equipment can already resist a Tier 9 semi-powerful person. Jin Wu believes that if the military department really wants to catch Lu Xuanji, it is not impossible. He is not a 9.5, but only a 9th. What's more, it's not that the military has never caught Tier 9.5. It was still 3 months ago. The arrested person was actually the 3rd Tier 9.5 strong in the Dragon Kingdom. It's just that because of his special status, no one knowing that he is the 3rd breakthrough 9.5 strong in the Dragon Kingdom. Xiaojin, don't worry, I know you can't understand that a mob who has killed a city like this can still get away with it. The old man on the other side of the video smiled bitterly and calmed down. Young people are always passionate and impulsive. But you have to know, is a city more important than a country? The deceased has passed away. Only in a peaceful world, human lives are worth money, and the chaotic world is like a waste of life. You don't want to see that day, right? Tell you, the military can't reassign manpower right now, and even our people, I can't give you more. The old man paused and said. Jin Wu was stunned for a moment. He didn't know that the domestic situation was already so serious. But what he saw was a peaceful and prosperous age. Seeing Jin Wu's expression, the old man reminded, the second summit of capable people, should you know? Yes, it is always mentioned in the news from time to time. Jin Wu replied. But, the comprehensive strength of our country's capable people has always been the top 3, and the number of 9th tier capable people is even the first. Isn't it a bad thing? The old man looked serious and shook his head slightly. You are right, but you have overlooked a little. Our enemy, Kingo murmured, frowning. It is precisely because the Dragon Nation is too strong, the Star Alliance nation's sword is the overlord, and it will not tolerate us. The Fusong Kingdom is for a world feud, and a group of clumsy Star Alliance brothers, none of them is a fuel-efficient lamp. We are strong, isn't the enemy strong? As the second summit of the capable, do you think they will take action? The peace you see is not real peace, the old man said meaningfully. Jin Wu listened to the old man and was silent for a while, and still felt a little flustered and nervous. What's the matter? He has always thought that the Dragon Kingdom is a great country and should be fearless. At this time, listening to the old boss said this, I suddenly felt nervous, and found that the pressure of the great country of Long Nation should also be great, not as easy as I thought. Do you still remember that in the first year of the new day, our country once had a powerful person of the 3rd rank and 9th rank? He was the world's first Tier 9 powerhouse, possessing 7 abilities, the most at the time. Wind and rain, sun and moon, aura. Almost all his abilities are special type and natural type, calling for wind and rain, and omnipotent. At that time, in the eyes of these newly awakened capable rookie, he was simply a godlike existence. The old man suddenly thought of something and said with some remembrance. This person, in fact, was not a secret among the first group of awakened people at that time, and everyone knew it. But 3 years later, except for the first group of awakened people at that time, almost no one remembered him. At the beginning of the new day, all wireless networks and communication signals were destroyed, creating a doomsday scene. It was not until the situation stabilized that the infrastructure began to be rebuilt. Jin Wu is not the first group of awakened people, but there are the first group of awakened people in his family, and he has also heard the legend of a spicy man. Remember, it's a pity that he finally disappeared mysteriously. Jin Wu said regretfully, otherwise, if he is in charge, who will fight for the Dragon Kingdom today? Missing. You think it's too simple. The old man sneered. In short, Jin Zhao was personally decided by Wu Baichang, the vice president of the Academia Sinica. The military department clearly communicated with the Academia Sinica. As long as he no longer poses a threat to public security, the above means let him be used by us. Your previous mission was cancelled, now I still think of a way, how to wash him off. The old man ordered. The corner of Jin Wu's mouth twitched. Even if you talk so much, I still feel a little awkward about what's going on. It's easy. Jin Wu curled his lips and said dissatisfiedly. In fact, more than a dozen terrorist organizations in the world have declared responsibility for the crash of the Sky City in Xinshan City. For these terrorist organizations, it was originally everyone shouting and beating, claiming the major event of the Sky City crash can ascension their deterrence. Here, Liu Xuanji and the people from the city security headquarters came to the fines. From time to time, there will be younger brothers from the city's capable forces who come to pay the fines. After all, for the capable, conflict is inevitable. As soon as he entered the room, Huang Dao winked immediately, and the security guards behind him immediately brought a chair and let Liu Xuanjia sit down. The head of the fines office saw the situation and hurriedly got up from behind his desk and followed up. Yeah, several adults, this is. The head of the room placed a low posture, and he knew the few people who came down from the headquarters. This is Mr. Liu, his summoned creature killed a few people and paid a fine. Huang Dao glanced at Liu Xuanji, but did not dare to say his name for fear of scaring people. Mr. Liu, looks a bit familiar, I'll be lucky enough. The head of the room smiled and stretched out his hand to Liu Xuanjia. But I was a little puzzled in my heart. Seeing that he was a big man and paying a fine for such a small matter, why didn't he let the servants come and even run a trip in person? Liu Xuanji thought, too, does he have a bad guy? How about having own power? Hurry up, I have something to do if it's planned. Liu Xuanji took out the bank card, and the money rewarded by the money rat illustrated book was still in it. Please sign here. The head of the room personally emptied the document and handed it to Liu Xuanji. Liu Xuanjia immediately signed own name. This is over. Where can I make a claim? Liu Xuanji looked at Huang Dao and raised the document that Huang Dao gave him. In the mediation room, we have notified the families of the thieves. If they are unwilling to make compensation privately, the security guard can file a lawsuit against them on your behalf and follow the path of the official court. According to the regulations of the People of Ability Act, they must pay compensation. It's just a matter of how much you lost, Huang Dao replied. As a member of the city security headquarters, he was also promoted from the regional security guard, and he is quite familiar with these procedures. After the new day, although the law still provides protection and fairness to the weak as much as possible, those with abilities bully ordinary people, and those with high-rank abilities bully those with low-level abilities, which has become the norm in fact. Liu Xuanji wanted to claim compensation from the families of those thieves. It was actually very simple. Not to mention the regulations of the Capable People Act, but there was no. Liu Xuanji asked them to trouble them. They dared to send money. Baby come to close the case. In the large mediation room, there was a long conference table in the middle. The family members of the thieves had already been found by Huang Dao when Liu Xuanji came to the security guard. Of those thieves, one of them was the boss of Yuxing Minerals in Xinshan City, and the others came from other cities to negotiate business with Yuxing Minerals. The 4 people, all of Tier 4 and 5 abilities, had finished their business talks the day before, and Zheng Biao, the boss of Yuxing Minerals, arranged for them to stay. This morning, Zheng Biao and the other 3 people checked out and left. After seeing the black turtle meat in the yard, they were upset by Kai. They saw that this pile of fierce beast meat was contained in a huge black tortoise shell, and thought it must be a high-rank fierce beast meat, and there were only 2 fifth-tier, human, guards. Even if they stole a few pieces, the owner of the black tortoise meat might will never find out. Unexpectedly, this thought cost them their lives, and they underestimated the strength of the Shadow Servant. Shadow Servant is usually used as an assassin. He is very good at hiding and being very alert. The methods of these improvised thieves are extremely inferior in their eyes. Kai Lingyu slung her handbag, frowned slightly, sitting on the chair in the mediation room with a serious face, a bit of dignity and dissatisfaction in her eyes. Standing at the entrance of the mediation room were 2 tall and powerful people with great power. She had just been forcibly invited by the security guards people, and these 2 people with great power were left guarded. She is Zheng Biao's wife and the proprietress of Yuxing Minerals. She is always pampered. From her exquisite makeup, you can see that this woman has the arrogance and elegance of a lady's wife. What a pity, lady. Not worth mentioning in front of thugs. Except for Kai Lingyu, there was a computer on the other seats. The family members of the other 3 thieves were on the screen. They were all invited to the local security guard. After all, It was ordered by the headquarters, and the security guards in other cities were still very cooperative. When Lu Xuanji came, he could see the anger that was visible to the naked eye on Kai Lingyu. Where's Wen's team? Let him come over. I think you are really daring to kidnap me. Seeing someone coming, Kai Lingyu slapped the table angrily. She has never been treated like this before. Wen's team can't come, my Huang team is in charge of today's mediation. Huang Dao strode over, sneered, and said to some domineering Kai Lingyu. You said that if you put your posture down a little bit, he would still have a better attitude because your family is indeed unlucky. Come in with such a face, really don't know where you are. Team Huang, what are you? Call your captain to come. Kai Lingyu was stunned for a moment, then patted the table angrily. Call us the captain. Do you really think you are a person? Huang Dao couldn't help but smile, and walked to the own position with his hands behind his back. Wen's team, just the captain of the Xinshan City security guard, has tier 5 strength, similar to him. He is the head of the headquarters, the position is not lower than that of the general corps, and in terms of power, it is not comparable to the general corps. To see the team at their headquarters, Kai Lingyu really doesn't have that qualification. Ahem. Seeing Huang Dao was about to sit down, he coughed dryly with Minghui next to Lu Xuanjia. In his opinion, all the previous deeds have shown that the owner of OWN has a high status in their world. How could this kid be so uninterested? The owner did not sit, what did he sit for? Huang Dao was stunned for a moment, his movements became stiff, he looked at Minghui beside Lu Xuanjia and then at Lu Xuanjia. Immediately, his expression changed slightly, and he seemed helpless. Mr. Lu, sit here. Huang Dao opened the chair opposite Kai Lingyu and shouted to Lu Xuanjia. Lu Xuanjia glanced at Minghui, then smiled and said, summoning creatures, not sensible. Huang Dao didn't answer. Is this a show-off or a threat? For those with the ability to summon, the summons are all animals, souls, etc., with relatively low intelligence and sluggish thinking. Lu Xuanjia, these two summoned creatures, are no different from real people if they don't look carefully. Although Minghui said that Minghui was not sensible, Lu Xuanjia walked over and sat down honestly. Kai Lingyu frowned and tightened, and Lu Xuanjia watched as she pinched out a few marks of the Gucci clutch in her hand. Captain, do you know who I am? I remind you, don't do anything wrong, and be careful that your captain fires you. Kai Lingyu threatened. He thought that Lu Xuanji had something to do with the captain of the security guard, so he kidnapped himself. Ms. Kai, be quiet. Where do you think this is? You threaten the personnel of the city security headquarters and offend the high-rank ability. I can teach you now. Huang Dao's expression changed, and he yelled at Kai Lingyu. With this scolding, a large group of cold water condensed out of thin air and splashed on Kai Lingyu's face, making her sober. The elemental abilities of the people in the urban security headquarters are very common, and they are lower than the upper third level ability, and there is basically no hope of entering the security headquarters. Among the upper third level abilities, the elemental abilities are the most numerous. Obviously, Huang Dao is a tier 5 water elemental ability person. Facing the momentum of a 5th order ability person, Kai Lingyu was stunned, she herself was just a 3rd order ability person. Although her ability is also a tier 3, and is relatively special and rare, but in terms of strength, she is not Huang Dao's opponent at all. Headquarters, Kai Lingyu murmured a little panicked. I think our people have notified you, your husband, who stole the property of a high-rank person at the Royal Palace Hotel this morning and was beaten to death by the guards. Now, we have fined Mr. Lu in accordance with the Capable Persons Act. He intends to file a compensation lawsuit against your husband. He came to you to ask your opinion about whether he is willing to pay compensation in private. Huang Dao went straight to the subject, asked Kai Lingyu. After all, his time is very precious, and if Lu Xuanji were not involved in this matter, he would not have appeared in a place like the mediation room. It's ridiculous. My husband is the president of Yuxing Minerals. We earn 10 million yuan a year. How could he steal things? He killed my husband, and he wants me to pay compensation. I'm Pooh. Kai Lingyu was instantly excited, and the voice was sharp and high-pitched arguing. She is a 3rd order sound capable person. At this time, it can be said that she used her ability to cause an attack. The cups on the table were broken, and the 3 computers next to her were also disturbed. Ah, The two giants at the door had already covered their ears and rolled underground, and some of the security guards who followed them had some changes in their expressions. Lu Xuanji was calm as usual, calmly creating two slimes and stuffing them into his ears. Well, it seems that this thing is not useless. Although Kai Lingyu's attack power is basically useless to him with the strength of his 7th order ability person, it is still ugly after all. Suddenly, a high-pitched bird song completely suppressed Kai Lingyu's voice. Kai Lingyu suffered from the backlash of the supernatural power, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Little bird, don't be too much, she is dead, who shall we find to lose money? You just paid the 3,000, are you out? Lu Xuanji raised his hand to give Zhu Xiao a brain collapse, and reprimanded. Huang Dao and the others twitched their mouths, almost without a breath. Mistress, miser, 3,000 yuan is a lot for you, a 9th level ability person. Is it too much? It turned out that for this reason, Kai Lingyu got his life back. Ask Lu Xuanji to say, more. Of course more. This has to be his wages for a week when he was a programmer, and he did 7 days of work for nothing. Presumptuous. Hand her up, seize her assets, and file a lawsuit against her for assaulting public officials. After a while, Huang Dao patted the table and said. He really didn't expect that this woman would dare to do something in the mediation room. Kai Lingyu was also very dazed, she was just a little excited, she couldn't control her own ability. In order to restrain the capable persons, in the Capable Persons Act, it is a big crime to attack law enforcement personnel. Kai Lingyu was immediately arrested and taken away for assaulting public officials in person. Lu Xuanji was not very happy. Where is my compensation? Well, you leave your account, and when the ruling is over there, I will call you the money. Huang Dao smiled bitterly. But I still lost 3,000 yuan today. Lu Xuanji mumbled to himself. We are willing to compensate. Yes, we are willing to compensate. Can you take the liberty to ask, what did I steal from little brother? Seeing the situation here, the family members of other thieves who were connected via video looked at each other and said quickly. They don't want to be charged with a big crime like Kai Lingyu. But they are still a little reconciled, because their family background is not bad, they belong to the kind of not bad money. They really can't figure out what it is that is worth stealing by their bright and beautiful family members in their daily lives. Moreover, with regard to compensation, it must depend on the value of what their family members have stolen. The offending is the person with several levels of ability, which is all related to compensation. It's not a treasure, it's just tier 9 fierce beast meat. It was stolen and it was wasted. You can discuss how to pay for it. Lu Xuanji looked at the computer screen and replied. Not to mention the family of the thief on the opposite side of the video, even Huang Dao and the others couldn't help but twitch their mouths, a little shocked. Tier 9 fierce beast meat. Isn't it a baby? This is all things that can be auctioned in Tianjing. Why would you just leave it in the yard and send 2 tier 5 summons to guard? Tier 9, Huang Dao exclaimed subconsciously. Let's put it this way. The 9th level ability is already one of the few and high-ranking figures in their city security headquarters, and there is no weaker in dialogue with the minister. Tier 9 fierce beasts have almost the same strength, but they have been chopped into meat. Tier 9 fierce beast meat is absolutely more shocking than seeing a Tier 9 ability person in person. In terms of value, it is also very high and extremely precious. Even those with the 9th order ability will need the 9th order fierce beast meat. Don't you believe it? You can use it for the appraisal. In short, you said they want to compensate me. Today I must pay for my compensation. Lu Xuanjia glanced at Huang Dao and said confidently. In terms of money, he has always been very principled. Ah, don't you believe it? How much do you plan to make them pay? Huang Dao returned to his senses, chuckled, and asked Lu Xuanji. You are professional, you say. Lu Xuanji looked at Huang Dao and said. He has little knowledge, and he is afraid of saying less. Huang Dao should know the best of the background of these thieves and how much money can be lost. A family of 100 million, what do you think? Huang Dao thought for a while and asked Lu Xuanjia. The 4th and 5th tier abilities who start a company, if they are not born into a large family of abilities, and there are strong people in the family, they basically have this wealth. Tier 5 is a watershed. Starting from Tier 6 capable people, the ability to collect money will greatly increase. Some capable forces recruiting Tier 6 capable people will pay tens of millions of monthly salaries, let alone mixing them. Lu Xuanji was taken aback. Before, he couldn't make 100 million in his entire life, unless Wenshan borrowed it for another 500 years. No, 500 years is not enough. However, when Huang Dao opened his mouth, his family would pay him 100 million. Lu Xuanji inevitably felt a little emotional. It's great to be strong. It was true that he asked Huang Dao to speak. Yes, Lu Xuanji nodded slightly. It was an accident, and he didn't think about how much compensation he would get. He was satisfied after making up for his $3,000. Unexpectedly, it was still an unexpected joy. Lu Xuanji didn't get entangled anymore and nodded. Agree. 100 million for a family, plus the 420 million he has now, for a total of 720 million, plus what Kai Lingyu will be indemnified. With the starting capital, he can directly start a factory and build a company, almost just a handful of people. It's better to touch porcelain to get money quickly. What do you think? Seeing Lu Xuanji's direct agreement, Huang Dao heaved a sigh of relief. He didn't expect this thug to speak well. In fact, he still has a certain amount of space left. Even if the mob is not satisfied, he can also mention that those family members can also tell. It would not irritate Lu Xuanji because he couldn't afford to pay. In fact, there is no new order from the above, but Huang Dao dare not anger Lu Xuanji. Captain Jin did not arrest him last night, indicating that the people in Xinshan City could not handle Lu Xuanji. If you irritate him and don't know what he can do, then things will happen. The family members of the thieves on the video side are also under the supervision of the local security guard. At this time, when I heard that the family members were stealing Tier 9 fierce beast meat, how could such a person offend him? Money is the best solution, and I'm afraid that people won't collect their money. That would be troublesome. We are willing to compensate, and within today, the compensation must be delivered. In the video, everyone nodded quickly. The property they own is not all cash, most of them are other assets, and it is not easy to come up with 100 million in cash. Huang Dao asked Lu Xuanji to leave his account, and today's mediation is over. Lu Xuanji walked out of the city security guard humming a song. What could be more happier than getting up early in the morning when someone lined up to give him money? Back at the Haoting Hotel, Lu Xuanji looked at the flesh, muscles and bones of the black tortoise with his arms akimbo, lost in thought. How could he make money as soon as possible? The effect of the mysterious turtle flesh and blood is actually very strong for those with abilities. Those with the 5th level ability can rely on a 2-pound piece of mysterious turtle flesh to break through to the 6th stage within a week. If a person with the 8th rank ability can obtain a few hundred caddies of mysterious turtle meat, he can properly break through to the 9th rank within 3 months. Moreover, the mysterious turtle meat also has a great effect on the 9th level ability. Although it will not be upgraded to a certain level, it can still fill the body with abilities and achieve the effect of the power of ascension. With the accumulation of time, the upgrade will definitely be faster than those of other abilities. But for Lu Xuanji, this effect is a bit low, not as fast as Cultivation Royal Beast Art Ascension. We still look down on it. Moreover, this mysterious turtle has too much meat, it will be broken if left for a long time, he will not use it for a while, and there is no place to put it. Compared to eating for yourself, selling is obviously a wiser choice. Lu Xuanji was about to leave Xinshan City, and it was impossible for Lu Xuanji to take this large pile of black turtle meat to the auction. It would definitely not be able to be sold according to his request. After thinking about it, Lu Xuanji started a live broadcast on the video website. I heard that those anchors were selling well with the goods, so I learned by myself. The New Territories app. This is a video and live broadcast app commonly used by the capable people. People often broadcast the Expedition Secret Realm and explain the skills of the capable people ascension. Of course, there are also ordinary 8 trigrams news and the like. Ordinary people can also be used. Lu Xuanji created a new account, and ID was too lazy to think about it, so he used the Beastmaster directly. After starting the live broadcast, Lu Xuanji pointed the camera at the black turtle shell and the flesh and blood meridians in it, and hung the goods on the shelves in his live broadcast room. Tier 9 Fierce Beast Mysterious Turtle Meat, 100,012, 800,000 a caddy. The ninth order fierce beast mysterious turtle blood jelly, 1.2 million 1 tail, 8 million 1 catty. The ninth order fierce beast mysterious turtle tendon, 2 million 1 meter. The goods are limited, only 13 meters left. The ninth order fierce beast mysterious tortoise bone, 50 to 13 million pieces. The specific price depends on the part and size of the bone. A Tier 3 ability person accidentally entered Lu Xuanjia's live broadcast room, glanced at it, and prepared to leave. And many more. What the hell? Tier 9 fierce beast meat. Anchor, you are real or fake? Tier 9 fierce beast meat. Spread rumors indiscriminately, but the platform will ban you. Lu Xuanji just started the live broadcast and was very idle. When he saw someone talking, he immediately leaned in front of the camera and replied, "Of course it is true. Try to show it to you. Tisk tusk tusk, dog, come here." Lu Xuanjun called to a Tier 1 fierce beast dog raised in the hotel. Ooh, the dog lowered his head and walked over in a whimper. The vermilion bird on Lu Xuanji's shoulder put a lot of pressure on it. This is probably the legendary bloodline suppression, right? Lu Xuanji dropped a piece of black turtle meat and ordered the dog to eat it. The dog sniffed the black turtle meat. His eyes were a little greedy, but he looked carefully at the vermilion bird on Lu Xuanji's shoulder. Vermilion bird glanced over, making the dog bark in fright, and swallowed the black turtle meat in one bite. Shuangui fleshed his belly. It was originally just a first-order dog barking wailing around in the field, and a faint red husk appeared on his body. This is an advanced performance. The strength of the dog is too low, it is only a first order, and the effect of the mysterious turtle meat on it is very obvious. The few viewers in the live broadcast room were stunned. Tier 9 fierce beast meat. Really? Can you even buy this kind of stuff online now? This is a legendary existence. The anchor is proud. At this moment, I just want to be that dog. Woo woo woo. Ma, I actually saw Tier 9 fierce beast meat with my own eyes, I died without regrets. Anchor, can you just buy a tenth of a tail? Lu Xuanjia looked at this private chat, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Roll. What a joke. Although Lu Xuanji used live broadcast to sell goods, it was not he begging others to buy it, but buyers begging him to buy it. This kind of thing can't usually be bought with money. Monopoly, we are willful. Lu Xuanji's live broadcast room quickly became popular. People used the live broadcast to bring the goods, and Lu Xuanji became the anchor of the goods. Someone even gave Lu Xuanji a few yuan, hundreds of yuan a gift. Lu Xuanjun is dumbfounded. What are you doing? Can you be more serious? I just want to sell goods, but you buy them. What gifts do I need for you? Ordinary people and those with low-level abilities can join in the fun, and those with high-rank abilities saw Lu Xuanji's live broadcast, and they were immediately messed up. It's because I can't keep up with the development of the world. Tier 9 fierce beast meat, sell goods online. Little question mark, do you have many friends? People from Zhao's family, Li Yuan, and King Qin's palace who were going to go home to report on the contact with Lu Xuanji just got the news, and they were startled when they opened the live broadcast. In the video, Lu Xuanji was sitting in the courtyard of the hotel selling goods live, playing, slimes, live. It is impossible to yell, the price is set, what are you looking for, place an order. I'm all inclusive. Seeing Tang Fenghong hurriedly fetching her mobile phone, Li Min was taken aback for a moment, grabbed the mobile phone and placed an order. What is there to hesitate about this? No matter how much it sells, there is a market and there is no price. Buying is earning. Yesterday, she suffered a serious injury to her ingot, and she is worried about finding something good to make up for the ingot. Unlike the beast controllers who use beast pets as combat tools, Li Min, the big miss, mostly raises ingots as pets, and they provide delicious food and drink on weekdays. Ding! Your balance is insufficient. A prompt popped up on the phone. Li Min failed to purchase because of insufficient balance. The corner of Li Min's mouth twitched. Tier 9 fierce beast meat is indeed expensive. Although Lu Xuanji had processed some leftovers in wholesale, the remaining serious shuangui flesh and blood still weighed several hundred catties. Although Li Min is the Miss Li Yuan, it is impossible to carry more than 1 billion in her pocket at any time. In fact, the card she is using usually saves 1 or 2 billion, and if it is more, she must apply to the family, or sell their own properties. Mr. Lu, why didn't you say that you are going to sell this black turtle meat? I will pay 1.5 billion, you can sell it to me. Li Min rushed down wearing a pair of rabbit slippers and said to Lu Xuanjia. At this time, Qin Tianyi, Qin Tianxi, Qin Tianqi, and Qin Tianlin were all there, and Zhao Chengxuan was also there. Obviously, they all just learned the news and rushed to buy them. Zhao Chengxuan is well informed, he is weaker than the power, but he is not weaker than the financial resources. You didn't say you wanted it. I knew that the live broadcast would not be started. Lu Xuanji touched his nose, looked at a few people, and said innocently. A few people looked speechless. Tier 9 fierce beast meat, would we not want it? I just thought you weren't selling it. Since everyone wants it, I can't compare it to auctions, right? The highest bidder will get it. Zhao Chengxuan glanced around and proposed. Li Min and the four brothers of the Qin family also nodded slightly. Who is afraid of whom? This is fair. However, Lu Xuanji looked at the phone. No way, I sold more than 200 caddies, and the tendons are gone. If you want to take pictures by yourself. Lu Xuanjia waved his hand. If he had known that Li Min and the others were going to auction, Lu Xuanji would definitely choose the auction, and the higher price would get it. But now it has been sold on the live broadcast platform, and a lot of them have already been sold. If you regret to charge back or something, you still lose your character. Now Lu Xuanji can defeat anything, his character cannot be defeated. Don't ask him why, I believe in metaphysics. In fact, Lu Xuanji didn't care much about this mysterious tortoise meat. Compared with the domineering one from Haoshan of the royal beast sect, this ordinary little mysterious tortoise was really too ordinary. Lu Xuanji's original plan was to use it to raise a certain amount of funds. He planned to hand it over to the auction house instead of handling it himself, which was convenient. But now it takes too much time for the auction house to leave Xinchen City, and he came up with a trick such as live broadcast cargo anchor. The few people who had been arrogant heard it, their mouths twitched, and they quickly took out their phones to buy them. In fact, they couldn't put out more than 1 billion at a time. They originally planned to communicate with Lu Xuanji, save the goods first, and then use the money to buy them. Who knows that Lu Xuanji doesn't plan to auction it as a whole? Then there is no way, as much as you can grab. In less than 10 minutes, the expensive Tier 9 fierce beast meat in Lu Xuanji's live broadcast room was sold out. At this time, millions of onlookers gathered in the live broadcast room and couldn't help but exclaim. With this purchasing power, I still underestimate the world. The audience was still pouring in, and Lu Xuanji directly closed the live broadcast room. He is not interested in being famous, so he wants to sell a mysterious turtle quietly. Later audiences, looking at the darkened live broadcast screen, could only feel the shock of the live broadcast from the barrage that was constantly being brushed. I can't help but beat my chest and my feet, regretful. How come I'm a step late? More than 800 caddies of mysterious turtle meat, more than 90 caddies of blood frozen, some bones, and turtle shells were taken away by Zhao Chengxuan's bid, totaling 1.576 million. Because Lu Xuanji had to transfer money on the spot, the price of tortoise shells was average, and Zhao Chengxuan didn't have much cash left on him. High-ranked capable people earn money quickly. After all, for now, resources such as high-rank beasts and elixir are just needed, and there is a market that is priceless. These resources are often difficult to obtain, and only those with high-rank ability have the strength to obtain them. But this is not a long-term way. Lu Xuanji did not intend to become a hunter. He went hunting in the wind and rain every day. Almost 2.3 billion, which is enough for Lu Xuanjia to start a large-scale factory of super weapons. However, when Lu Xuanji returned to the room, he first slapped the rewards for the tasks they promised Sparks, and since then they owe them nothing. Whether it was sacrificed in the Sky City that day, or surviving, Lu Xuanji shot them over, and instantly ran out of money. A dozen people on the dark web list were invited by Lu Xuanji. Others, such as Lao Lu, were foreign aid hired by Sparks themselves. Lu Xuanji didn't give any money. They were justified in giving them to Sparks. With more than 700 million left, Lu Xuanji looked at the deposit and bit his steamed bun. Not enough, not enough. Lu Xuanjia didn't notice that not only did he successfully sell the goods, he was also successfully caught fire by the goods. Beast King, for a while became a major anchor who swept the internet. Of course, some people have discovered that he is very similar to the wanted criminal in the news some time ago. But I don't know why, there is very little news about this wanted criminal in these 2 days. The goods are sold out, except for Li Min and Zhao Chengxuan who picked them up on the spot, everyone else has to ship them. This does not require Lu Xuanji, a 9th-tier master, to do it himself. He sent Mingui and Yingyu to communicate with the hotel, and the hotel staff helped him call the logistics company to package and deliver the goods. As for the employees of the logistics company, it is possible to see profits. Haha, what good things can buyers who buy Tier 9 Fierce Beast meat do? Anyway, I don't care if I send it to Lu Xuanji, the people in the logistics company are not afraid of death and just talk to the buyer. After a day of tossing, Lu Xuanji left the hotel in the evening. The sky is getting dark, it's in the middle of the day, when day and night alternate, today is very special, and it is foggy. Lu Xuanjia wore a high-necked coat and a hat, but did not bring vermilion bird. But even so, when walking on the street, people still turn their heads to look at him from time to time. I don't know if anyone recognizes him. Even if they recognize him anyway, do these ordinary people dare to trouble him? Today, the news about Lu Xuanjia suddenly disappeared, completely disappeared. There are a few news stories mentioning the city in the sky, but they all seem to have deliberately avoided the culprit, Lu Xuanji, and did not mention his name. Some civilians who are keen on conspiracy theories have already sensed that something is going to happen, and there have been some messy rumors. There are disadvantages to Lu Xuanji, and there are also disadvantages to the government. But they can't shake anything. Before Lu Xuanji walked out of 500 meters, the phone rang suddenly, and when he picked it up, it was an unfamiliar number. Hello, Lu Xuanji answered with doubts. Mr. Lu, what are you doing now? Our operator is already too busy. It's all calls from others to report where you appeared. A slightly familiar voice asked Lu Xuanji helplessly. I'm on the street, passing by. Lu Xuanji looked around, and several of his own people turned their heads and left quickly. At noon, the above instructions were already down. I don't know why there are such instructions. It may be that Mr. Lu is very capable. But our ability is limited. This is only a day and a half. It can't eliminate your influence. You'd better not go out and wander around. Huang Dao reminded helplessly. Just because he had dealt with Lu Xuanji this morning, he was assigned to continue communicating with Lu Xuanji. If nothing unexpected happens, he will be required to communicate anything from the headquarters to Lu Xuanji in the future. Huang Dao was panicked, feeling like a companion to a king like a tiger. I don't want to, I have a place to go. Lu Xuanji sighed lightly and smiled bitterly. You stand still, where are you going? I will pick you up. Huang Dao said quickly when he heard it. All right, needless to say, I now know that a few ants just passed under your feet. Huang Dao interrupted helplessly. He is in the office of the security guard operators, and there are still a steady stream of people calling. Looking at the phone that was hung up in his hand, Lu Xuanji raised his head and glanced at the passerby who had just passed by. Sure enough, passers-by were looking back at him, their eyes facing each other for a while. The passers-by's eyes showed embarrassment and fear, and Fei fled away. Does this count as a 100% return rate? Lu Xuanji curled his lips and murmured. Squeak, with a bang, Huang Dao appeared in his car in less than 2 minutes. So fast, Lu Xuanji said with a pocket in his pockets, and got into Huang Dao's car. I won't come again, the phone number of the security guard is really going to be blown. Huang Dao said helplessly. You can't drive a car when you go out. No, Lu Xuanji replied lightly. Originally there was a second-hand car that was bought for tens of thousands of dollars. Some time ago, it was towed away by the security guards when they checked the apartment. Although he now has the strength and confidence to get it back, he doesn't have that idea and feels troublesome. Okay, where do you want to go? Huang Dao asked. Ping County, Lu Xuanji replied. This is a county under Xinshan City. Before the new day, it was very backward. It belonged to the kind outside the 18th line. It didn't develop, but it declined even more. That is Su Su's hometown. That day, when he woke up early in the morning and learned of the news of Su Su's death, Lu Xuanjun recovered from the bewilderment and suddenness, and his first reaction was to find Zhou Fugi's theory. Because they had a conflict with Zhou Fugi not long ago, Susu was still discussing this with himself last night, and Lu Xuanji thought Zhou Fugi was very suspicious. Later, Lu Xuanji was beaten by Zhou Fugi, which confirmed that Susu's death was indeed related to him. Susu learned of the list of internal layoffs and wanted to threaten Zhou Fugi with the information about Zhou Fugi's bad deeds in the company. Lu Xuanjia logged into Susu's chat software and saw the chat history between her and her girlfriends, and her plans. She believes that Lu Xuanji lost his parents and was depressed for a while, but now he has nothing but this job. If he was expelled, Lu Xuanjia would definitely not be able to get out of that depression again. Moreover, if Lu Xuanji was fired, she would be even more dangerous to face Zhou Fugi if she stayed at the company alone. It is inevitable. Therefore, she had to make up her mind to face all this. She tried to add Zhou Fugi's chat account, but found that the old antique didn't use it at all, and could only call Zhou Fugi to threaten Zhou Fugi. However, Zhou Fugi appeared unscrupulous on the phone, saying that he did not believe that Susu had information that would make him suffer, otherwise, why didn't he directly submit it to the security guard or the Chen family? The information in Susu's hands is indeed incomplete. As an ordinary person, it is difficult for her to collect things that can really bring down Zhou Fugi. The things in her hand, morally speaking, are definitely enough to demote Zhou Fugi into dust, but this is after the new day. She is really not sure how much impact those things will have on Zhou Fugi if they are handed over to the security guard or Zhou Fugi's boss. Whether it is the security guard or Zhou Fugi's boss, they are all capable people. They look down on ordinary people, and there is a high probability that they will not help an ordinary person deal with capable people. Moreover, what she wanted to do was to help Lu Xuanji keep her job. The internal list was confirmed. Even if Zhou Fugi fell, the person who took over would not reconsider it, but directly submit the list. Susu had to take the risk and went to see Zhou Fugi in person, negotiated with him, and agreed with her girlfriends that if she can't come back, she would post this information on the internet. It can exist for as long as it can exist, and attract as much attention as it can be regarded as the last struggle. Susu did not come back. There was no such information on the internet. Zhou Fugi died, the building fell, the big boss behind the company was gone, the Sky City crashed, and things broke out. The last sentence in the chat box is an apology from Susu's girlfriend. Sorry, I dare not. Lu Xuanji recovered from the suffocating memory. He knew where Susu was, but he didn't dare to see her. Everything is because of myself, and myself, one step too late, one day too late. Even if you get this kind of ability again, besides avenging Susu, besides being able to vent your own dissatisfaction, besides allowing the world to see, what else can you do? It doesn't help what happened the day before. Lu Xuanji was in a complicated mood. He didn't know if his supernatural grandfather did it on purpose. However, regardless of whether Grandpa deliberately or not, he has no stand to criticize Grandpa. Even if it was one day late, without Grandpa, he could not even kill Zhou Fugi with this waste. Susu was taken back by her family, Pingxian, her hometown. Dage, Lu, Mr. Lu, are you sure you made a mistake? It's 7 o'clock now, and Ping County is tens of kilometers away from here. It has been 2 hours since it was dark. What are you going to do? Huang Dao complained. I will go out of town tomorrow and tell my deceased person. You'd better cancel my wanted as soon as possible. I can't buy a plane ticket, can't go to Tianjin, and can't report to the military department and the Academia Sinica. Lu Xuanji, he replied, trying to hide the unrest in his tone, but inevitably there was still a trace of fluctuations. I don't count this, I can only report it to you. Huang Dao bared his teeth and said, what is this? He is second to none. Should I call Xiao Yin? Lu Xuanji paused and asked. Don't. You said you. What are you doing in a hurry at this time? Time is ample. I went to this paper and reminded me. It will only take a day or two. Why bother him? Huang Dao stopped quickly. If this is to let Xiao Yin know, he said that Lu Xuanji called him to urge him, his own skin, this life, do you want it? Sit down, let's not confess. I drove 2 years of racing before the new day. You used to drank a small wine with an old person over these dozens of miles. We can still rush back to the hotel before 12 o'clock. Huang Dao quickly changed the subject. Can't drink. Lu Xuanjia shook his head. Why? Huang Dao was surprised when he noticed the change in Lu Xuanjia's tone. She's dead. Lu Xuanjia was silent for a moment, and the atmosphere in the car seemed a bit quiet. Huang Dao sat like a needle, cursing himself for being too much. Why couldn't he control his curiosity and blurt out? Hearing Lu Xuanji's words, he even had the desire to die. Did he offend Lu Xuanji? What to do next? Wait online, hurry. A 9th level ability person is unhappy with him, it is too easy to kill him, there is no need to do it yourself. Ah, you are so loyal. Huang Dao coughed dryly, trying to save it. Yiki. No, not loyalty. Lu Xuanji shook his head. Huang Dao shut up and said nothing. He was afraid that he would continue speaking, and Lu Xuanji would now slap himself to death. It's so strange, he never found himself so speechless in the past. Ping County, there is no haze cast by the Sky City, and the most powerful people in the entire county town are no more than tier 5, and the number is scarce. Xu Wenji is Susu's father and lives in a 90 square meter suite with a family of 5. Susu's father, mother, grandpa, grandma, and a little sister, a family of children. Before the new day, they originally had 2 houses, one of which was a small clamshell of more than 200 square meters. Although in the county seat, life was not bad, it was much better than Lu Xuanji's. But in the new day, no one of the big family awakened, and everyone lost a lot of things overnight. There are not many such families, and there are only a few awakened people. From a national perspective, there are a lot of them, but in a small county, it can be said to be 1 in 100 and 1 in 1,000. However, the sparse number of awakened people have powerful abilities, and they want more, because they are the hope of mankind in the future. At least, they think so. What Xu Wenji lost, in addition to real estate and deposits, now has a daughter. Lu Xuanji stood downstairs in the old residence and did not go up. The old residential building was built several decades before the new day. There is no community. From this stairwell, there are residents. There was only a large rusty iron door at the entrance of the stairwell, which could not stop Lu Xuanji, but he did not go up. Before the new day, Lu Xuanji had met Susu's family, and after the new day, he had been there several times, and he had reached the point of discussing marriage. Even knowing that Lu Xuanjia had lost his parents and a pauper, Xu Wenji was always a little bit hesitant, but he often said nothing. From the bottom of his heart, he didn't want his daughter to marry such a person who had nothing and precarious. But the marriage between the two was actually confirmed before the new day, and it has been postponed again and again because of the changes in the new day. Lu Xuanjia had lost everything, and Xu Wenji was somewhat unbearable. Why don't you go up? Huang Dao's heels and Lu Xuanjia blew the cold wind here for 10 minutes, but couldn't help but ask him. I don't want to go up, you help me give these things to 3 to 4 people. Lu Xuanji took out a plastic bag from his coat pocket and handed it to Huang Dao. Why don't you go by yourself? Huang Dao couldn't understand a little bit. Even if the deceased died, he didn't need to do this, right? Is this all gone? What the hell is he here for? I don't want to go. Lu Xuanjia raised his head slightly, looked at the floor, and replied with the bright light. The corner of Huang Dao's mouth twitched. Okay, Dage is crazy, anyway, the world only divides what you want to do and what you don't want to do. The reason is not important at all. Huang Dao took the package and walked into the stairwell. Lu Xuanjia looked up at the stairs and returned to the car. There is one more stop, and I don't know if it is fortunate or unfortunate. Because he was taken back to his hometown, Susu was buried in the Western Cemetery by his family in the traditional way of burial. The cemetery in the county town is relatively cheap, but it also spent almost all of the savings of Xu Wenji's family, more than 200,000 yuan. As for the wilderness outside, don't even think about it. No one knows what will happen. Maybe 2 capable people passed by and had a fight, and your grave was gone. Mr. Liu, you heard me. Within 5 minutes, the lights in the corridor were all on, and Huang Dao ran out rolling. What are you giving me? A little girl just opened the door for me and opened your package to have a look. There is a book of colored little people in it. Turning the first page is a fruit man. It hurts me. You can't win even if you run. Losing face is too big. No wonder you don't go up by yourself. Mr. Liu, next time you have such a bad taste, can you tell me in advance? It's too exciting, my heart can't stand it. Huang Dao complained endlessly. Lu Xuanji had a black line. Then have you seen clearly, are there some small dots on that woman, and some lines connecting? There are text beside it. Ah, it seems to be. Huang Dao thought carefully, nodding uncertainly. It was too embarrassing. He hurriedly ran away without seeing too clearly. Have you watched TV? Huh, why do you say that? That's a secret book. Lu Xuanji replied lightly. Cheats. Huang Dao looked stiff and murmured. Really or fake, such a precious thing. After gradually returning to his senses, Huang Dao couldn't hide his shocked expression. To talk about what is most sought after in the world right now, it is not weapons, not magic treasures, not elixir, but cheats. Those with abilities don't understand cultivation, so they can only use clumsy methods to use the ascension power of foreign objects, but if they have a cheat, it's like stepping through a sky. Severe sequelae of the power of fierce beast meat, magic treasures, and weapon ascension. Every cheat book that can be cultivated is extremely precious, and can even cause snatches between countries. Not only did Lu Xuanjia have, he even gave that kind of thing to others so easily. In that little girl's house, there seems to be an incompetent person. Huang Dao frowned as he recalled the scene just now. Since there is no ability, what is the use of cheats? Lu Xuanji didn't explain. The cultivation technique of the royal beast sect can be cultivated by ordinary people. It's nothing more than ordinary martial arts cheats. They are reserved for self-defense. Although they are not as powerful as those with the ability, it is better than nothing. Lu Xuanjia explained indifferently. Oh, Huang Dao recovered his calm and nodded. Are we going back now? No, the old person I was talking about is in the Western Cemetery. Lu Xuanji shook his head. He's just so prosperous. People who are alive don't dare to meet, and people who are dead have to hesitate again and again. Huang Dao stopped talking and drove to the Western Cemetery. When he arrived at the destination, Huang Dao was going to find the guards of the cemetery, but Lu Xuanji stopped him, did not disturb anyone, and entered the cemetery. Susu's tomb is a new tomb. It was only 2 days before he was buried, and all the wreaths and tributes were still placed here. Lu Xuanjia breathed out lightly, squatting down in the indifferent white mist floating in the night, looking at the words on the tombstone word by word. There are a few lines of small characters next to them. According to their tradition here, they are the people who set up the tombstone for Susu. There is no his name. Ha! Lu Xuanji stared for a long time, and a vague and indistinct voice came from his throat. I don't know what to do or what else to do. Perhaps in this life, some regrets are inevitable. I'm leaving and will be back, but I don't know when. These are for you. I don't know if you need it. Lu Xuanjia murmured, and took out a small box from his arms. Those are some trivial small objects that he took away back to the apartment. The few small gifts he once gave to Susu, the sum of which did not exceed the value of 2,000 or 3,000. If you don't need it, just lose it. After another long time, Lu Xuanji got up and muttered to himself. Huang Dao looked at the indistinguishable name on the tombstone in the night, Shu Su. A very ordinary name, ordinary enough. He really can't figure out how a woman with such an ordinary name would make a ninth-order powerhouse care so much, and even become a hermit, for this. The former hermit, this has almost become one of the officially certified identities of Lu Xuanji. Otherwise, it is impossible to explain his sudden burst of strength. Of course the dead cannot lose things, but it is very easy to lose them. Just as Lu Xuanji left, there was a sudden thunder, and a ball of lightning floated past Susu's tomb. The sudden change of weather caused Lu Xuanji to pause. In fact, he didn't know whether it was a coincidence or a world where the dead have their own dead. Lu Xuanji murmured, she wouldn't forgive me. Huang Dao followed Lu Xuanji and heard this muttering to himself, and said in his heart, maybe it's just that you don't forgive yourself. He had read the information of the two of them, and he didn't think it was to blame for the person who could save his life for Lu Xuanji's job. Early the next morning, Lu Xuanji left the hotel. Because he couldn't buy a plane ticket, he decided to visit his parents in Luan County, which Xiao Yin said. After the sacrifices last night, the other treasures searched in the royal beast sect have almost figured out how to use them, only the axe is still like ordinary iron. Among them, the finger that was picked up in the study made Lu Xuanji most surprised. For the entire royal beast sect, it should be an important thing, a token of the head. The inside of the jade pull finger is round, but the outside is a hexagonal rhombus. On each side, the image of a strange animal is drawn. Lu Xuanji glanced at the dragon, phoenix, qilin, white tiger, jinpeng, and nine-tailed fox. They are all relatively large races, not weak in strength, beast races. After the sacrifice, Lu Xuanji could initially drive this jade finger, but because the grade of the jade finger was too high, Lu Xuanji's control was very limited, and it was far inferior to the chessboard he had previously refined. But what is most gratifying is that this finger has a storage function at the same time, which makes Lu Xuanji a lot more convenient. Otherwise, like his backpack and baggage, they all have to be carried on their backs, which takes up a lot of space and is inconvenient. The space in the finger is temporarily equivalent to a room as big as the space pocket of the new power technology products that have just come out on the market today. Obviously, for the Royal Beast sect, the storage ring is a mature technology. Vermilion Bird told Lu Xuanjia that if this finger is really a token of the Royal Beast sect, then I am afraid that the space in it is far more than the size of a room. Lu Xuanjia's mental energy is too weak, and only the size of this room can be seen. Lu Xuanji threw all his own belongings in, put his fingers on his hands, and walked out of the hotel empty-handed. In addition to this finger, there is actually a Jinhao brush and a mountain-shaped pen holder, but also because Lu Xuanjia's mental energy is too weak to practice more magic treasures, it has to be shelved for the time being. Lu Xuanji got on the car heading to Luan County. Today, he was wrapped more tightly than yesterday, otherwise the phone number of the security guard would be blown up again. Because of the slow driving of the car, Lu Xuanji came to Luan County in the early morning of the next day. Lu Xuanji took out his mobile phone and called his second uncle. Xiao Yin told him that her uncle Lu Feng is now the head of the Lu family. The Lu family is in Luan County, and it is considered one of the two most powerful forces nowadays. A Lu family, because it has the background and connections before the new day, and there are also several awakeners with good abilities in the family, it is reasonable to continue the previous glory after the new day. But it is also limited to Luan County, a small county with a population of less than 200,000. Another dominant force in Luan County is the Jingwutang. Jingwutang was a martial arts hall before the new day. With the coming of the new day, those practitioners can be said to have certain advantages. Therefore, it also recruited some capable people, and gradually formed the second largest power in Luan County, arguing against the Lu family. Lu Xuanji had lived for more than 20 years, and he had never been to Luan County. If it weren't for Xiao Yin, he wouldn't even know that he still had aunts and uncles here. Whether it is true or not, he will know when he has the opportunity to check in the future, but at this time, Xiao Yin has sent his parents' ashes back to his ancestral grave for burial, and Lu Xuanji does not think that Xiao Yin will deceive himself with such trivial matters. The consequences are something he can't afford, so let's just think so for the time being. After the call was connected, Lu Feng seemed a little cautious. Here is my cousin. Which station are you at? We will pick you up now. Lujia, Luan Mountain Villa. Lu Feng held the phone and felt an unprecedented pressure. Xiao Yin had already sent the ashes of Lu Xuanjia's parents back to his ancestral grave, and he naturally heard about his cousin from Xiao Yin's mouth. Lu Xuanjia, if you check the internet, you will know that his recent reputation is not small. Although he is notorious, the world recognizes that he is a Tier 9 beast controller, as evidenced by the Phoenix Ashes that day. Those with the 9th level ability, regardless of whether they are notorious or good, they are all existences that ordinary people can't afford. In this district of Luan County, the strongest ability is only the 5th rank. In addition, the people from the military department personally greeted Lu Feng at the news. Don't be too troublesome, just keep a low profile. Lu Xuanjia noticed Lu Feng's "we" and quickly reminded him. He has a great reputation now, so he shouldn't be high profile. Understand, understand, Lu Feng answered again and again without the pretense of an elder. Afterwards, the phone hung up, and Lu Xuanji lit a cigarette outside the station, waiting for the people from Lu's family to pick him up. At this moment, Lu Xuanjia noticed that two passers-by abilities on the street who had no intersection were walking in the same direction after looking at each other. 5th tier, Tier 6. Is it right? In a small county, are there Tier 6 capable people? Lu Xuanji murmured, as if he had witnessed some PY trading scene. Lu Xuanji wanted to take a look with the morning, but the people of the Lu family should be there soon, and it was not easy to let them go, so he only wrote down the appearance of the two capable people. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, an exaggerated luxury motorcade appeared in front of Lu Xuanji. Rolls-Royce and Lamborghini opened the way, with a calm and atmospheric Maybach in the middle. There are also many BMWs and Mercedes-Benzes behind. The entire fleet is estimated to have about 20 cars. These cars were all luxury cars before the new day. After the new day, these automakers can be regarded as one step ahead of the world by relying on the heritage of the new day. In addition to their own products, there are now many fantasy luxury cars equipped with super technology, and ordinary people can't even drive. In the current fleet, about half of the luxury cars are new versions after the new day, equipped with black technology, and the remaining half are old cars before the new day, and the price is much lower than before the new day. Although they are all regular editions, isn't it a bit exaggerated to have a fleet of so many luxury car brands in a small county? Lu Xuanji has a black line. Doesn't the second uncle know what "loki" means? Cousin, please. After the convoy stopped, the middle-aged man in formal suit, who looked like a successful person, got off one of the Maybachs and invited Lu Xuanji. In the other cars that stopped, 1 or 2 Lu family members also walked out one after another. Second uncle, fourth uncle, 2 aunts, their children, and some other relatives. The corner of Lu Xuanji's eyes twitched. Is this really drawing the whole family over? Second uncle, don't you just keep a low profile? Lu Xuanji walked over helplessly, and quickly got into the car and said. He doesn't want to be too pushy. The convoy started again, and in some of the cars that followed, there was a whisper from cousins and cousins. He is the one from the third uncle's house. He is really handsome. Pull it down. You are greedy for the strength of others. According to the news, he is very likely to be a Tier 9 beast controller, and the beast pet is still Phoenix. Phoenix, that little fat bird on his shoulder, how come I don't think it looks like it at all? Besides, you are not greedy for other people's strength. He is my cousin, see who will dare to bully me in the future. Xiaochu, do you daydream? Do you know how cruel that guy is? Even the Sky City in Xinchen City has been destroyed. We have never seen him before. Do you know if he is abnormal and crazy? Shish, be quiet. I heard that people with high rank ability have very sensitive hearing. You said he is a pervert. Later. In the car, the little girl who was still holding her arms while discussing was pale when she heard that. A panic flashed in her eyes. But after a while, he pretended to be calm and said, we are so far away, no matter how good his hearing is, he can't hear it, right? All right, Lu Yunchu, Lu Zuan, be quiet. I really don't know, the third uncle's family hasn't been in contact with us for 20 to 30 years. Why did he suddenly come back? It's a guy from the military department who came to make the line. Front seat, 125. The young man around 6 frowned. Hearing the chirping voices of the 2 cousins in the back seat, his brain was about to explode. Something with no conscience. Big brother, when did I let you 2 be bullied, expecting a stranger? Lu Xuanji rides in the same car with Lu Feng. After getting in the car, Lu Feng talked with Lu Xuanji warmly and with a little restraint, telling his parents that their spiritual position had been put into the ancestral hall, but the ashes had not yet been buried, waiting for him to host it himself. It can be seen that Lu Feng attaches great importance to this matter, and there is nothing Lu Xuanji can worry about. So, he nodded and asked, Second uncle, I think these capable people in our family are only 3 and 4 in strength, and only 3 in the 5th. Are they still acceptable in Luan County? These 3 5th tiers are from our Lu family, your cousin Lu Xuanming, your cousin Lu Ziyuan, and your sister-in-law Lu Qingqing. The family also invited 4 5th tier worships, so I didn't bring them here. In Luan County, our old Lu family still counts. If you have any requirements, please mention it. The second uncle will definitely satisfy you. Lu Feng smiled. Of course, he knew that Lu Xuanji might be the 9th rank, and he might not be satisfied with what he really wanted, but it was considered an attitude. 7 5th ranks. Lu Xuanji murmured. I just saw a tier 6 capable person on the street. Does second uncle know which one it belongs to? There really is something wrong with this. The 7 tier 5 Lu clan can already dominate in Luan County. What about the tier 6 one just now? Who did he sell his life for? Or go it alone? A Tier 6 ability person can already pose a threat to the Lu family, and coupled with having the only Tier 6 ability in hand, it is much easier to recruit Tier 5 ability people. Rank 6. Lu Feng was startled, and asked in secret, could it be that the old Jing Wutang has made breakthroughs? Jing Wutang's hall advocated shock. He was a mantis boxing master before the New Day. After the New Day, the ability to awaken the alien beast has been stuck in the 5th stage for a year, and the rumor that he will break through the 6th stage has been spread for more than half a year. This is not good news for the Lu family. Lu Feng suddenly frowned, and asked Lu Xuanjia, how old is the Tier 6 ability person you saw? About 25 years old, wearing an old suit and holding a briefcase, like an insurance seller. Lu Xuanji replied. Judging from the situation at the time, these two capable persons may have been disguised for the purpose of connecting. From the outside, they were very ordinary. I don't know what they are hiding. Logically speaking, the Lu family is already a dominant power in Luan County, and the most powerful master in the family is only Tier 5. A Tier 6 ability person does not need to be sneaky at all, just do what he wants, and no one can stop him. Young man. Lu Feng was stunned for a moment, his expression a little dazed. Zhang Zhen is already in his 50s, and I have never heard that practicing Tanglangquan can still rejuvenate. After regaining his senses, Lu Feng frowned. A Tier 6 capable person who is not under the supervision of the Lu family. Second uncle, it seems that you don't know. Lu Xuanji asked when Lu Feng hadn't answered for a long time. Lu Feng chuckled, and then pondered. In my opinion, I am afraid it is the foreign aid requested by Jing Wutang. Recently, there is an energy explosion point on Liang Mountain that is about to be opened. This energy explosion point has existed for half a year, although the periphery has spilled. The energy is not strong, but it lasts for a long time and has a large dispersion range. It is estimated that a secret realm with a large area and sustainable development conditions is about to appear. The only person in Luan County that can wrestle with our Lu family is Jing Wutang. Tang advocated shaking the 5th order bottleneck card for a year. There has always been a breakthrough, and there is no breakthrough yet. They spend the money to go outside. It's not impossible to invite someone with Tier 6 ability. Lu Feng explained. Forces like Jing Wutang can't support those outside Tier 6 abilities, they are all vampires. But it's okay to just ask them to help themselves for a period of time, and maybe once this new secret realm is controlled, it will be able to support it. Jing Wutang is betting on treasure. Lu Feng sighed in his heart, then looked at Lu Xuanjia and stopped talking. The Lu family does not have a Tier 6 ability, but it happens to be such a god tier. If he is willing to help, what is a Tier 6 ability person? But Lu Xuanjia didn't look at Lu Feng's face at this time, did not pick him up, but muttered to himself, a new secret realm is also open in Luan County. He had read some magazines about the capable people before. If ordinary people want to understand the world of the capable people, they can only buy magazines and read them. He remembered that there was a set of data about secret realm. According to the magazine, there are about 300 new secret realms appearing in Long Country every year, 98% of which are ordinary ultra-small secret realms. The so-called ultra-small secret realm means that the area of the secret realm is not large and the resources are not much. Perhaps after the first round of search, it has no value. At most, it can continue to develop for 1 or 2 months. The remaining 2%, 50% of which are small secret realms, like the recent secret realm in Xinshan City, which can support half of the development under normal circumstances. Of course, it is not included in the world of Zon Turtle and Imperial Beast Sect Hengsha, which can only be said to be an exception. The remaining 30% are large secret realms, 15% are super secret realms, 3% are super secret realms, and 2% are super secret realms. The number of new secret realms last year was 342 in the Dragon Kingdom, 471 in the Star Alliance, 423 in the War of the Republic of China, 466 in the Euro Alliance, and 701 in Yangzhuzhou. The total number of new secret realms in the world throughout the year does not exceed 3,500. However, now there are only 2 ordinary small cities, and 2 secret realms have appeared one after another, not to mention those areas where secret realms are more frequent. Has the speed of the emergence of secret realm accelerated? Lu Xuanjie couldn't help flashing such an idea. In the new 3 years, it seems that he is still in the ascending period of ability development. Not only has the resources not decreased, but they have become more and more. But this is a good thing or a bad thing, not necessarily. Since it's all here, this secret realm, I also want to join in the fun. I don't know when the energy burst point will actually erupt. Open the secret realm channel. Lu Xuanjie returned to his mind and asked Lu Feng. According to the fourth order prophet of our family, it will be when the sun rises this month, Lu Feng replied. Lu Xuanjie's mouth twitched. Speaking of people. These prophets always like to talk about the gods, and don't know if they inherited the stinky bugs of the gods before the new day. About the morning 3 days later. Lu Feng replied. 3 days, Lu Xuanjie murmured, and then nodded. It's okay, it's just a few days before my parents' funeral was organized. Before, Lu Xuanjie could not afford the cemetery in Xinchen City, so he could only put his ashes in the centralized storage point of the funeral home in Xinchen City. There are probably more than 100,000 ashes of ordinary people who died during the new sun's change. Don't look at it as a small grid for the ashes. One grid requires a fee of 20,000 to 30,000. The people in the funeral home will be responsible for the management, cleaning the external dust, and even offering sacrifices for the New Year and New Year holidays, which is equivalent to buying a high-level grid cemetery. Today, Xiao Yin returns the ashes of Lu Xuanjie's parents to his ancestral grave, which is equivalent to moving the grave and burying it again. The luxury motorcade galloped past the small county town and attracted many people to take pictures and discuss it. It didn't take long for the motorcade to arrive at the villas of the Lu family. Right in the center of Luan, after the new day, the Lu family rebuilt a family villa complex on the site of damaged buildings during the chaotic period of the new day. Now it is also a symbolic building complex in Luan County. The surrounding 4 streets are the most prosperous businesses. Street. The motorcade stopped directly in front of the Chinese-style ancestral hall in the center of the villa group. Lu Feng was also fascinated. He knew that his Lu family had nothing to do with Lu Xuanjie. The first person to bring him to meet was Lu Xuanjie's parents. In the ancestral hall, you can see that the ranks of Lu Xuanjie's parents are placed there. Because they are new, there are still fruit candles in front of them. As soon as the convoy stopped, some ordinary people stood quietly outside the ancestral hall, and Lu Feng led Lu Xuanjie into the ancestral hall. Seeing this, a waiter next to him sent 3 sticks of incense under Lu Feng's sign. Lu Xuanjie looked at his parents in the ranking of the Lu family ancestors, took the incense, and asked Lu Feng, "How do you think Grandpa is?" "I have lived for more than 20 years, but I don't even know that you still exist." Father. Speaking of Grandpa, the faces of the brothers and sisters Lu Feng could not help but change slightly, a little complicated, as if it were difficult to explain in a word. Father, he should be a very capable person. During this year's famine, no one in his family could support him, and he even had a child to eat, but he supported a few of us. Lu Feng recalled. Lu Xuanjie turned his head and looked at him. To be honest. Ah, it's the truth. This is also the truth. Lu Feng looked a little embarrassed, and coughed dryly. But it is also deliberately chosen. Father, he is difficult to understand. He is not as strict as other parents. He must require us to pursue a certain aspect of achievement. No matter what we want to do, even if it is ridiculous, he will support us. Father rarely gets angry with us. The only time it was because of Dage. He was disappointed with us. From then on, not only did he move out, but he was not allowed to see him. The sister-in-law on the side recalled and said slowly. Then he smiled bitterly. Although he rarely gets angry at us, no one dares to disobey the majesty of his father. Even though we are all grown up now, we have some achievements. Thinking of my father, I can't help but feel shocked by him. Quote. Lu Xuanjie listened quietly. His grandfather was indeed not an ordinary person, but he regarded him too ordinary. Lu Xuanjie stepped forward and offered incense for his parents, and temporarily stayed at the Lu family. As soon as he arrived in the room arranged by Lu Feng, the people outside the room were crowded, quietly watching. They were all juniors in the family. Earlier, after worshipping his parents, he had already seen it in the hall. But they still didn't leave, looking into the room with curiosity. Lu Xuanjie looked towards the door with a single look, only to hear a flustered sound, and everyone rushed away. Lu Xuanjia shook his head and laughed. He originally had a little brother, but because he had been separated for so long, there was no such fun among children for a long time. And now, he is not a kid anymore. Lu Xuanji did not leave the room. He stayed at the Lu family these few days. Except for the funeral of his parents moving the tombs, he spent most of the time in the cultivation of the royal beast art. His mental energy was too weak and he could only practice 2 magic treasures. For Lu Xuanjia, this was far from satisfying. Royal beast art focuses on imperial beasts, and the method of Lingbaozong actually has some overlaps in utility. Regarding the cultivation of gods and souls, both of them can be described as superior methods. In terms of cultivation of souls, I am afraid that only the soul-suppressing gate that specializes in souls can be stronger. Cultivation technique. A disciple of the cultivation technique is peculiar. It is said that the strong under his sect is powerful and immortal. After the body's death, its soul will carry the first cultivation base and reincarnate. In just a few years, it will be able to fully restore the previous life skills, or even stronger. It can be said that the cultivation technique of the cultivation of souls has achieved the immortality that the practitioners are struggling to pursue with a new method. If the disciples of the soul cultivation sect were to cultivate the cultivation technique of the royal beast sect and the Lingbao sect, they would definitely become the best among them. It's a pity that there are serious differences between the real cultivation sects, and the cultivation techniques of all sects are regarded as treasures, and they are by no means exaggerated. In order to prevent their own cultivation technique from being stolen by the soul-suppressing sects, the process of selecting disciples has a special procedure for identifying soul reincarnations. As for the small sect, they don't have that kind of ability, and their cultivation technique doesn't have to be a lot of trouble for the soul-suppressing people. Just find a core figure of the sect and directly search for the soul with the powerful soul power. It is also for this reason that the Junhunman can be said to be a sect that is both righteous and evil, and has always been more mysterious in the universe. After just a few days of cultivation, the power that Lu Xuanjia extracted from the species was integrated under the action of the royal beast art. Lu Xuanjia felt that it was easier to use. After a short time, he should be able to ascension to 8. Order. But he was not in a hurry for ascension, but continued to consolidate the existing realm. Since he came into contact with capable people, his strength has been ascension fast, and his foundation is not solid enough. In the past few days, several new species have been signed in, but they are all ordinary, not as brilliant as vermilion bird. The second order golden spotted sword swallowtail butterfly, the second order wasp, and the third order desert cat. Lu Xuanjia used the remaining energy value to extract the high-level dexterity ability of the desert cat, the sting ability of the wasp, and the low-level concealment ability of the sword-bird butterfly. The newly signed species ascension is not big, but Lu Xuanji created the daily quota of blue-winged birds, hard apes, and imitation horses, so that they can disperse on their own and live in Luan County in case of emergency. Lu Xuanji didn't take the ones created in Xinchen City before, it was too much trouble, and it was unnecessary. Now he has extracted a lot of abilities himself, his own strength is not bad, and Vermilion Bird, the role of these low-level species, to be honest, a little dispensable. Just hope that they have a safe life and don't destroy the local food chain environment. However, Lu Xuanjia thought about it, and it shouldn't have much impact. After all, after the new day, many animals have become fierce beasts, and releasing some second and third order species by themselves will not have much impact. In the early morning 3 days later, when Lu Xuanji got up, he heard that the entire Lujia Villa area was gathering. It was still dark, but 100 or 200 people had gathered on the square in the central garden, almost the majority of the Lu family people. It can also be noticed that the energy points of Liang Mountain outside the city are constantly expanding, and there are also some abnormalities in the expansion range of the energy points, such as the thick fog and the invisible fingers. This kind of vision is more common than the sky and blood moon vision when the new secret realm in Xinchen City appeared. The people of the Lu family had actually assembled before dawn, but because Lu Xuanji hadn't gotten up yet, he hadn't set out for a long time. At the other end of the city, the people from Jingwutang gathered early and sent people to inquire about the movements of Lu's house. After all, the two are old rivals. The emergence of a new secret realm this time means that if one of them controls the secret realm, it will have the upper hand in the battle between the two. The people in Jingwutang were also afraid of what tricks this old opponent would play, and kept on guard. What is strange is that among these people in Jingwutang, there does not seem to be the shadow of a Tier 6 ability person, and there are even fewer Tier 5 ability people than the Lu family. Chapter 91. At 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 wins the mountain. At this time, the entire mountain peak had been shrouded in white mist, and the teams of the Lu family and Jingwutang entered the mountain from 2 climbing entrances respectively to the core location of the energy burst. In Luan County, some people with the ability to disperse have also fallen into the mountains one after another, or go in groups or walk alone. Only when this secret realm just opened, anyone can come to share a piece of the pie and chase a chance. After the first wave of exploration has passed, the secret realm will stabilize, and the control of the entire secret realm will basically fall into the hands of a large local power. This force will organize manpower to guard and develop the secret realm. When the resources in the secret realm decay to a certain extent, the secret realm will be transferred to some relatively small forces or companies in auction or other situations. During this entire period, it is basically impossible for other people with abilities to go to the secret realm if they don't pay any price. There is also a group of people who are born specifically for secret realm. Wherever there is a new secret realm, they will go wherever they are. These are adventurers in the new era, and they are generally more powerful. However, like this ultra-small secret realm in Luan County, as long as it is not a novice adventurer who is just entering the industry, basically no adventurer will come here all the way. This time, the competitors of the new secret realm in Luan County, except for the Lu family and Jingwutang, are basically some capable people in the county and surrounding counties. Lu Xuanjia followed the Lu family's team all the way to the center of the energy burst. This was the first time that he had come into contact with an energy spot that had just exploded so close, and witnessed the emergence of a secret realm with his own eyes. This is definitely a very novel experience for someone who was an ordinary person not long ago. The energy burst point around a small spot less than the size of a needle's eye is full of destructive power. In this environment, even those with the ability of Tier 3 or so will feel uncomfortable. If it is an ordinary person, in such an environment, there is a possibility of violent death. Even if it does not, the physical body will decline due to the erosion and destruction of the energy burst. 5 or 10 years, sooner or later, it will die. At the real core position of the energy burst, this destructive power would be more than 1,000,000,000,000 times the position of Lu Xuanji and the others at this time. Old Lu, what a coincidence. Lu Xuanji and the others came here first, but within a few breaths, the people from Jingwu Hall also arrived. Tang Shenzhen said hello to Lu Feng. In fact, it can't be said to be a coincidence. Jingwu Tang clearly paid attention to the actions of Lu Jia. Lu Xuanji glanced at the personnel at Jingwu Hall and raised his eyebrows slightly. What he saw on the street before was indeed not from Jingwutang. There was no 6th rank among the Jingwutang people, and even those 5th ranks were different from what Lu Xuanjia saw. Facing the greeting from his old opponent, Lu Feng didn't give a good face, and sneered, "I heard that your Jingwutang has hired foreign aid for this secret realm. A Tier 6 ability person, Zhang Dage, has really made a lot of money. What? Foreign aid?" Zhang Zhen couldn't help but stunned when he heard the words. His eyes were a little confused, and then he looked at several Tier 5 capable people beside him. Jingwutang was originally a martial arts gym, run by the brothers Zhang Zhen and Ma Qin with several apprentices. After the new day, the 2 brothers became capable, and even Zhou Yan, Wang Feng and others who were originally martial arts apprentices joined the martial arts hall because they became Tier 5 capable ones. Now these 2 have 5 skills. The families of people with tier-level ability together form the Jingwu Hall. It was also because of the complex composition and sometimes disagreements, so Jingwutang was always overwhelmed by the Lu family. At this time, Lu Feng's foreign aide, Zhang Zhen, as the master of Jingwu Hall, had never heard of it at all, and it was inevitable that he was a little suspicious. What foreign aid? Could it be that several other companies were looking for him behind his back? This kind of thing, without telling him the hall master, this is a rebellion. He Zhang Zhen was the leader of the establishment of Jingwutang. In addition, he was also the first person in Jingwutang to break through the 5th level. As early as a year ago, he was already the 5th level. But in the past year, his strength has been slow, consuming a lot of treasures, but he has always hovered at the 5th level. Zhang Zhen had to wonder if the people under his hands refused to accept him and wanted to exclude him from Jingwu Hall. After all, everyone is tier 5, and your tier 5 is no different. Why should you be the hall master? However, the other tier 5 abilities were also very confused. The dullness on their faces did not look like they were pretending, and they all had no idea about the foreign aid that Lu Feng said. Lu Xuanji stood low-key among the young people in the Lu family, because Zhang Zhen and the others looked too dazed. He couldn't help but glance twice. It seems that the capable person he saw that day was not the foreign aid of Jing Wutang that Lu Feng had guessed. But in Luan County, apart from the two forces of the Lu family and Jing Wutang, there is no such thing as a group of capable people that can be called a force. Could it be an outsider? Lu Xuanji frowned and was puzzled. An ultra-small secret realm is nothing more than a small secret realm. Isn't it worth the trouble for foreign forces? Could it be that their goal is not actually this secret realm, but Luan County itself, or something that they don't know yet? Lu Xuanji secretly said that now that his parents' ashes have been moved back to his ancestral grave, he doesn't want to let those messy forces stir up trouble in Luan County. Before he left, he must figure out the intention of the unexpected tier 6 ability person. But at this time, since I have come to the secret realm with the people of the Lu family, it is not good to leave directly, at least see with my own eyes how the secret realm appeared. Everyone quietly waited for the secret realm to open, and the energy burst in front of them continued to expand. A small spot the size of a needle eye at the core had expanded to the size of a fist. A tier 5 capable person in the Lu family was explaining to those young people from the family who came to the new secret realm for the first time. When the power of the energy point brews to a critical point, it will burst out suddenly, and the entrance channel of the secret realm will appear. You are here for the first time. Pay attention later. Don't be hurt by the burst of power that appears in the secret realm channel. Go in later and try your best to keep up with the family team. Otherwise, follow the people from Jingwutang, or it may be very dangerous if other people with the ability to disperse come across. In the secret realm, it's a land outside the law. Although Jingwutang has invited foreign aid this time, we have 7 young masters in the Lu family, and this secret realm is sure to be stable. You have to take this opportunity to enter the secret realm this time. Any treasure you find, you only need to pay 50% to the family, and the rest are your own. In the future, our family will control the secret realm, and there will be a dedicated person responsible for the development. It does not mean that you can enter if you want. The allocation of resources depends on the family's arrangement. Lu Xuanjia noticed the glances from the family members from time to time, and couldn't help but smile wryly. Can you not get involved with yourself? I'm really not interested in such a small secret realm. Among the young people of the Lu family, Lu Xuanjia ranks 7th, and is called Shaoqi Young Master in the family. To be honest, if you weren't all Grandpa's cubs, I wouldn't care about you. Lu Xuanji didn't know. Just as they were waiting for the secret realm to open, another place, another group of people, were also waiting for a secret realm to open. It was a desolate, dilapidated and wild land. According to legend, there have been civilizations that have reached the peak hundreds of times on this land, such as scientific and technological civilization, magical civilization, and cultivation civilization. There are ancient scientists who drove tons of mechas and annihilated the galaxy cluster in one shot. There is a great magician, chanting obscure mysteries, cursing the world and destroying the earth. There are even ancient trainers who cross the galaxy cluster physically to catch the stars and the moon, and move the stars to exchange battles. But now, all of this has become ashes buried under the earth. This piece of land, which once carried countless powerful people and supreme glory, has already decayed. This dry, cracked, black land, flowing with magma and blood, can no longer support the rise of a new civilization. Under the earth, the corpses of ancient gods and dragons are buried, but on the ground, there is no longer a spiritual herbs. However, on this land where the oil is exhausted, there are still some tenacious races, which are scattered on the desolate land in the form of tribes. Fight for the weak spiritual herbs of a spiritual chi and the sweet flesh and blood of a loser. However, not long ago, some bizarre passages appeared, bringing a ray of life to the creatures on this doomed land. The channel is connected to the rich secret realm of spiritual chi. There are elixir, spiritual wood, spiritual fruit, and even the soil and air there are sweet and sweet. However, it is not just a panacea. When the secret realm was opened last time, Aguri, the patriarch of the snake people, encountered another weak race in the secret realm. To Aguli's surprise, that weak creature, seeing her subconscious behavior, actually bowed to his knees. What shocked Guli even more was the power of faith. As the weak creature bowed down, Aguli felt the way of faith passed down in the last civilization on the wild continent. The last time civilization was destroyed, it has been tens of thousands of years. Aguli is very lucky. She once found an ancient relic inscribed with a few words of faith in the Shenzhou lake outside the tribe. It's a pity that the cultivation has not been successful until she saw the creature who bowed down to her, and finally she felt the power of faith in the legend. The Snake Clan has already controlled 3 secret realm channels, and the one that will be opened today is the 4th. Another world, another group of people. This is a prosperous world of comprehension, with immortal mountains towering, and 10,000 sects contending for glory. The fairy walks with the sword, the spirit beast auspicious is not surprising, there is a natural sage, a gift from a beast, purple chi from the east. An emperor lashed out at Fang Chu to fight against the world. He has the ancient power, so he can control the sky with his hand. However, there have been some problems in this world recently, and mysterious passages suddenly appeared in some places, with monsters pouring out. The Rosy Clouds sect is just a 9th grade small sect. Recently, the power fluctuations before the mysterious channel appeared near the sect. Between other regions and sects' experience, the head did not pay too much attention to this accident, but only organized a small amount of manpower to seal the passage. Dakion Universe, a corner too small, under the control of a mysterious force, all the mirror worlds collide and converge between this point. At this moment, the energy of the energy point exploded, and the wind was blowing loudly on the Six Winds Mountain. Everyone in the Liu family looked tense, ready to meet this round of power shock. However, there is nothing. All the bursting energy waves were already blocked by the star barrier when they rushed to the front of everyone. The transparent barrier is not visible, but because of the contrast of the surrounding scenery, it can also be seen that the place where Lu Xuanji and the others are standing is not affected by the energy shock wave. The people in Jingwutang were pressed hard, and they tried their best to fight one by one, looking embarrassed. Everyone in the Lu family couldn't help but look at Lu Xuanji, and he was the only one present. However, Lu Xuanjia did not pay attention to the people at this time, but looked in another direction. There were 15 people there, and one of them was the Tier 6 capable person I saw on the street in Luan County. Of the 15 abilities, the leader is the 7th rank, among the others there are 3 6th ranks, and 11 5th ranks. This lineup is not luxurious, although there are not many people, but the strength has far surpassed the Lu family in Jingwutang. Which force is this, such an ultra-small secret realm, why is it attracting such an external force? Lu Xuanji was a little puzzled and regretful, but it was a pity that he had only been in contact with the world of the capable person for about a week. After the hurricane, the secret realm channel really appeared. A swirling entrance with cyan light seemed to swallow people. I really don't know what determination was made by the first person to enter the secret realm channel. What kind of mood did you go in? It has been 3 years since Xinri. Lu Xuanji regrets that he is not the first group of people with awakening ability, and he has missed a lot of the fun of exploring the new world. Nowadays, many things have become common sense and gradually systematize about the world after the new day. For example, the realm division and type division of capable persons, such as the level division and type division of secret realm, and so on. Professional books have gradually appeared, statistics, classification and introduction of these, and even schools have opened special subjects for science teaching. But there are still many unknowns. Lu Xuanji today can participate in the exploration. For example, the secret realm in front of you. Well, for 3 years, there are hundreds of secret realms that appear every year in the Dragon Kingdom alone. An ultra-small secret realm is really not new. But it is new anyway, no matter how big or small. Every new secret realm appears, it is an opportunity to explore the new world. After the secret realm passage appeared, the first person to walk into the passage was the 15-member team that Lu Xuanji was watching. Hey, Lu Feng and Zhang Zhen looked at them, and immediately shouted out, yelling at the people in the team. Although the first one to enter the secret realm, as long as the time gap is not very large, it will not take much advantage, but after all, this is the site of the Lu family in Jingwutang. Even if it is a form, the first one to go in should be one of them. How could there be such a ignorant little power? Don't shout, that leader is rank 7. Lu Xuanjia stopped Lu Feng and said to him. What? Lu Feng was stunned for a moment, then looked at the tier 5 masters in the family. Look at it. Hiss, tier 5. Lots of tier 5. Who are those people? The tier 5 abilities in the family can only feel the aura around those tier 5 abilities that are similar to them. I don't know if the leader is tier 7, but there are still many tier 5 abilities. Too much horror. There are 11 5th ranks in such a team of 15 people, and there are only 7 in the entire Lu family. This must be an elite team sent by those outside forces. It's just that Lu Feng couldn't understand that such an elite team came to grab an ultra-small secret realm from them, right? Under Lu Xuanjia's reminder, the people of the Lu family didn't continue to yell at the people in that team. Although Jingwutang always watched the Lu family's actions, it was too late to react at this moment and had already stepped forward to stop it. However, the few capable people who stepped forward to stop them, after the leader of the squad glanced at them, died in horror, and there was no trauma on their whole body. What is this ability? Lu Xuanjia narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself. Although I don't know how many kinds of your abilities are divided into, I am sure that this is a mental energy attack. Zhu Shaok said. Those people are weird, but what is the blame? I can't tell for a while. Zhu Shaok shook her head with a confused look. In terms of its vast heritage memory, there shouldn't be any indescribable feeling. Who are you? In Jingwutang, those who had lost a few abilities, couldn't help taking a few steps back, and asked those people in shock. The leader of the squad looked back at the people in Jingwu Hall, a trace of contempt flashed in his eyes, and then disappeared into the passage. Old Lu, those people are. Zhang Zhen looked at Lu Feng and asked in surprise. Luan County is the site of their two families. It stands to reason that there shouldn't be strong people from other forces without their knowledge. Lu Feng did not answer Zhang Zhen, but looked at Lu Xuanjia. What advice can Lu Xuanji have? Enter the secret realm. The people in Jingwutang were frightened by the team just now. Under the leadership of Lu Xuanji, everyone in the Lu family advanced into the secret realm. Quote? That young man is. What happened to this? Why do I seem to know nothing about it? Zhang Zhen frowned, doubting life in a daze. As in the last time in Xinshan City, as the scene changes, Lu Xuanji and others have entered the secret realm. The sky, the sun on the left, the moon on the right, the sun and the moon across the sky, are really weird. But there was a piece of scorched earth at the foot, without the appearance of a secret realm. From time to time, the soil even exploded, forming a small pothole that was tumbling with bubbling magma. Strands of poisonous smoke drifted in the air, surrounded by scents similar to sulfur and gunpowder smoke. The squad that came one step in the first step is no longer visible. It seems that they entered the secret realm from the passage and appeared at random locations. At this time, there were only 5 or 6 members of the Lu family who entered the secret realm at the same time as Lu Xuanji, and the others did not know where they were going. Cousin. Lu Zuan turned his head and looked around. When he saw Lu Xuanjia not far away, he trotted over and said hello timidly. This was the first time she had talked to Lu Xuanji in the past few days. A hot man, his aura was so strong that he didn't dare to approach him. After all, it was a tier 9 ability person, and they all said that Lu Xuanjia destroyed the sky city of Xinshan City, with countless blood in his hands, and he was a very cruel fellow. Tier 9, ferocious, superior. These kinds of keywords are added to the body. It is really admirable and fearful, wanting to approach, but not daring to approach. But at this time, there were only a few members of the family nearby. It was still in such a small place at the same time. The sense of distance in the family seemed not so strong, so Lu Zuan dared to step forward and say hello. Cousin, little 7, young master. Others also came over, spontaneously gathering with Lu Xuanjia as the center. The other people seem to be separated from us. The head of the family means that we will gather in teams and see you at the center of the secret realm. Lu Xuanming glanced at the others and suggested to Lu Xuanji. If there is no Lu Xuanji, he will naturally prevail, but since Lu Xuanji is between them at this time, no matter whether it is correct or not, whether he wants it or not, he always has to listen to the orders of his 9th-level master. How to determine the center of the secret realm? Lu Xuanji had no problem with the original arrangement of the Lu family. After all, he was just a rookie who had a secret realm. I am a person with magnetic field ability, I can determine the position. We are now in the southwest of the entire secret realm, and that side is the center. A third-order ability person stood up and replied. Lu Xuanji was a little surprised, using a magnetic field to determine his position. Well, it is indeed a very scientific method, but there is also a magnetic field in the secret realm. Lu Xuanji was a little surprised. Science and metaphysics are inseparable from their ancestry. Everyone rushed towards the center of the secret realm. However, before arriving, they encountered a big scene on the road. On a hill 300 to 500 meters high in front, a queer-tailed man with a painted face stands on the top of the hill, and in front of her, kneeling down and worshipping the squad that I just saw. It seems, some mysterious pilgrimage ceremony is going on. There is no dialogue between the two, just talking with the most primitive gestures and other commands. Of course, Lu Xuanji looked at the snake man. Even if they wanted to talk to each other, it would be impossible. The species are different, and the language is not clear. Just as Lu Xuanji was watching this mysterious pilgrimage ceremony with relish, Meng Ke, the leader of the squad who bowed down sincerely, spotted them and asked vigilantly. Cousin. Lu Zuan was startled, and hid behind Lu Xuanjia. She just saw it. The leader of the team glanced at the people in Jingwutang, and the people in Jingwutang died. This kind of ability is too weird to guard against. Passers-by, continue, I'll take a look. Lu Xuanjia replied in a leisurely manner. He was rather curious about this team and the identity of the snake man. Looking for death. Meng Ke's eyes condensed, and his fear ability was activated. Lu Xuanji was in a daze for a while, and for a while, he seemed to see a sea of blood on the corpse mountain. But just for an instant, he was awakened by the loud hum of Vermilion Bird. Seeing Meng Ke attacking Lu Xuanji, Vermilion Bird directly spit on the star forehead. The star sprayed towards Meng Ke. The Mother Lady. Meng Ke sensed the power in the Vermilion Bird flame, and couldn't help being shocked, exclaiming and looking back at the snake girl. If you look away, the people around Lu Xuanji are very weak in Meng Ke's eyes. As for Lu Xuanji, he doesn't understand, like an ordinary person. But he never thought that what he didn't notice the most was that a little fat bird on Lu Xuanji's shoulder could have such strength. Hiss, a trace of irritation flashed through Aguli's pupils erected like a snake. Just now, she had used the cultivation technique of the Way of Faith to establish contact with the believers in front of her, so that the believers would respect On to a higher level. Thinking of being interrupted by these guys who appeared suddenly. With a flick of Aguli's tail, her fierce body directly smashed the flames that Vermilion Bird spits casually. Vermilion Bird couldn't help but be surprised. What the hell? Yes, now monsters are majoring in monsters. This guy, no matter how, he looks like a walking body. What demon body? Lu Xuanjia asked Vermilion Bird with a twitched corner of his mouth. Could it be that the snake girl in front of me is a monster? Then she seems to be a pretty vegetable. The monsters on other TVs can be completely transformed. She is half human. The appearance of weird creatures in the secret realm is actually still a novelty that has not been included in popular science books. Look at Ren Qinshan and their experimental body A9. A9 is not the first weird creature in secret realm. From O1 secret realm creature to A9 humanoid creature, Dragon Kingdom has found hundreds of creatures from secret realm that do not belong to their world. But in the past year of secret realm, these things have gradually appeared, and their origins, habits, etc. are still under research. But because almost every individual of these creatures comes from different races, it is equivalent to the emergence of hundreds of unknown species at once. It is very troublesome and time-consuming to study, and progress is slow. Seeing that the situation was on the verge of breaking out, Meng Ke and others got up and stood in a row in front of the snake girl, swearing to the death to defend the snake girl. They come from a mysterious organization that quietly appeared in the world a year ago, the original religion. According to the Chinese creed, the various changes since the new day are due to the return of the god of creation, and everything will gradually return to the age of mythology. And the god of creation, as we all know, is Nuwa. Human beings were created by Nuwa, which is a story that is repeated in all mythological scripts. The faithful believers of primordial gods believe that as the believers of Nuwa, as long as their faith is more pious and firm, they will be gifted by Nuwa and help them become more advanced life forms. There is no shortage of NC everywhere, even for those with abilities. The original religion, which makes ordinary people feel ridiculous, has secretly and rapidly expanded in just 1 year. Because religious people often do extremely irrational things for a slogan, a so-called belief, and as a mysterious and unstable organization, it has become a serious potential hazard in society. In the past year, the people of the Ministry of Urban Security have often battled wits and courage with the people of the original religion. But because the other party is too mysterious and hidden among all the capable and ordinary people, the Ministry of Urban Security has gained little. Over the past year, it has actually made the origin of the gods grow stronger. After all, more advanced life forms naturally include greater power, longer lifespan, and even immortality. And immortality has been a hot topic that has lasted since the history of mankind. Only when you are alive can you talk about everything else in this world. In the original religion, there are many examples of how the church members have been rewarded by the Virgin Mary for their contributions, and their strength has been advancing by leaps and bounds. Such rumors are spread among relatives and friends, such as father and son, brother and younger brother, as a secret that is not a secret. More and more people have joined the original religion, saying what it is to find the meaning of life, to explain the mystery of the new world, and all beings are ignorant. Only they know the truth behind the world. No one knows, the congregation does not know, nor does the official who is troubled by the soaring strength of the original religion. All of this stems from a misunderstanding. That day, a CX boss met the same confused Aguli in the secret realm. They have language barriers, but it doesn't matter. They are physically, snake-tailed, powerful, and have the desire to worship the way of faith. Nuwa Empress did not run away. Since then, the origin of God sect was born. In addition to cultivation and prayer, the congregants traveled around secret realm all over the world, wanting to get a glimpse of Nuwa's true beauty and listen to the oracle. Meng Ke is lucky. He was arranged to come to the new secret realm in Luan County this time. Originally, it was because Luan County is a small place and the new secret realm that was born was only very small. Here I saw the Nuwa Empress who was spread by the religious people. At that moment, his faith became more and more fanatical, and this was exactly what Aguli wanted. The way of faith can help deepen believers' belief in own. Aguli is planning to use this method to deepen the belief of Meng Ke and others in her. Unexpectedly, Lu Xuanji and others will appear. In addition, she also took action. In this case, she naturally wanted to protect the believers of her own, so she also took action. After a try, Aguli couldn't help but examine her gaze when she looked at Vermilion Bird. Just under a single strike, the sparks actually left a shallow mark on her tail. This is unusual. In the desolate ancient continent, all species are physically strong and good at fighting. As the leader of the clan, Aguli is naturally one of the best. Ordinary attacks can never leave a mark on her. In the desolate ancient continent, like the cruelest forest of beasts, victory is important, but more importantly, not getting hurt. Injury represents weakness. Even if you defeat the enemy in front of you, you will soon be killed by other things and become food. Aguli is a predator, not a food. There is no creature in her territory that can hurt her. But this time, after entering the secret realm channel, a little bird actually left a mark on his body. The two sides confronted each other, and Aguli continued to attack Vermilion Bird. In her world, once she moved her hands, she would never die until one of them became food. The creatures of the deserted ancient continent are almost always hungry. They will not let go of any food, and they will start to dry when they meet, which is basically common sense. Of course, the first person to see Aguli was very lucky, because Aguli was the patriarch and lived better than the creatures of other desolate ancient continents, and the power of faith was more important to her than food. Vermilion Bird flapped its wings and flew into the air, fighting with Aguli. The firelight and the starlight complemented each other, but Aguli's body was up and down in it, and she couldn't treat the snake girl for a while. The corner of Lu Xuanji's eyes jumped, and he greeted the Lu family members behind him to step back. Almost at the same time, Meng Ke and others also attacked them. Lu Xuanji originally planned to help Vermilion Bird, but now he can only stop Meng Ke and others. After all, Meng Ke is the 7th rank. If he doesn't care, he will kill the people around Lu Xuanji, almost like cutting melons and vegetables. Lu Xuanjia is actually a 7th tier, but he can use the power of Vermilion Bird to reach the 9th tier strength. Now the battle between Vermilion Bird and Aguli is in full swing, and it has not gained the upper hand. Lu Xuanji is not good at borrowing the power of Vermilion Bird, using the amount of creation that day, and creating 3 heart apes, 5 imitation horses, and 150,000 squirrels. 200,000 sparrows, 150,000 flamingos, 150,000 golden swords and swallows, 150,000 wasps, and 50,000 desert cats. The sudden appearance of a large number of animals made Meng Ke and the others who rushed over be bewildered at the time. What happened? It's dark. Ah! With a scream, one of them covered his ears in pain, and his ear was bitten off by a squirrel flying by, dripping with blood. Illusion. It must be an illusion. This is an illusion ability. What? Illusory you? Really? It's true. Don't panic. Kill me. It's just a few low-level fierce beasts, although the number is a little, billion points. Meng Ke shook his head, regained his senses, and shouted to his companions. Indeed, they are also the lowest-ranking capable people, and they can kill dozens and hundreds of low-rank fierce beasts with their hands at will. But the beasts in front of you add up to millions. In any case, under the leadership of Meng Ke, his team members gradually calmed down. Because there are too many low-level beasts, they can't be killed for a while, and a Tier 6 Fire Thunder Dual System ability person puts up the thunder and fire not. World defense. Others were also scrambling to kill ferocious beasts. These low-level ferocious beasts blocked their sight, and they couldn't even see where Lu Xuanji was. Lu Xuan and the others were all dumbfounded, and swallowed involuntarily. They have seen a lot of capable people. The ability is so exaggerated, it's really amazing that I haven't seen it before. Rao originally thought that Lu Xuanji had robbed his little sister's heart, but Lu Xuanming, who was a little dissatisfied, couldn't help but mutter to himself in a daze, Xiaoqi is really a cowboy. Enchantment, really consider me to be watching it. Lu Xuanjia muttered when he saw a Thunderfire enchantment standing proudly among the dark, low-level fierce beasts. Because most of the fierce beasts are low-level Tier 2 and Tier 3, no matter how large the number is, they will not be able to break this Tier 6 Thunder and Fire barrier before the power of the Tier 6 ability person is exhausted. The squirrel's max version of cutting gold and breaking jade is itself a heaven-defying ability that transcends class, but because the thunder and fire enchantment is a pure energy body, the squirrel is helpless. These low-level fierce beasts were unable to break through the barriers of this 6th level ability, but that didn't mean that Lu Xuanji could not. Lu Xuanji took the chessboard off his neck, refined the chessboard, and threw it away. Broken. The faint black and white Tai Chi picture revolved in the air, and the barrier enchantment constructed by the dual lightning and fire abilities was instantly shattered. If it's just a barrier enchantment with a single power, it may not be so easy to break, but who made him use the dual power to strengthen it? It is only necessary to cause the conflict between the two forces that he himself builds the barrier enchantment, and it can be broken in an instant. And this is easy for magic treasures, a chessboard with a hint of yin and yang. At the moment when the barrier enchantment was destroyed, countless fierce beasts rushed towards Meng Ke and others again. Although their strength is much stronger than a single low-level beast, when they kill dozens or hundreds of low-level beasts, it is enough for other beasts to take a bite and catch it. Ants often kill elephants. Although Meng Ke and others are stronger than these low-level beasts, they are not strong enough to ignore this law. The screams kept coming, and Lu Xuanji drove the chessboard again. I saw black and white light flashing, and black and white chess pieces landed on the ground, showing different scenes in different arrangements. A row of black chess, the abyss emerges, and magma rushes. White moves in a row, violent waves and torrents, whizzing. It seems that two chess players are fighting each other on the chessboard. However, on the chessboard, the tiny Meng Ke and others are the unlucky ghosts under attack. Meng Ke and others looked frightened and ran away. However, it was too late at this time. The chessboard turned again, white light bloomed, and a silver-armored general emerged from the light, hitting a bow with an arrow, and the flying arrow instantly attacked Meng Ke. Meng Ke's expression was shocked. Under the crisis, his body's abilities were also exerted to the extreme. It turned out to be a beast with a big mouth and a bloodbath, rushing into reality from the illusion of fear, only a head, not a body, that big mouth with a mouthful of blood eat the flying arrows. Although the flying arrow disappeared, Meng Ke also exerted a force that he shouldn't have grasped at this time because of excessive force, and a mouthful of blood spurted out because of overdraft. The army of fierce beasts swarmed up, gnawing him so much that there were no bones left. The rest of the people didn't get any better. The battle lasted only 3 minutes, and it ended in Lu Xuanji's complete victory. Tier 7 and Tier 7 are really incomparable. Lu Xuanjia took the chessboard back and put it in his hands, with a bit of joy on his face. This is magic treasures. After a try, it is really awesome. This chessboard, magic treasures, carries thousands of changes. Everything in the world is on the chessboard. In addition, the chessboard is originally a tool to carry the 2 battles and fights, so it has its own killing power. Lu Xuanji loved the chessboard that flew back to his hand. For a moment, he looked up at the vermilion bird who had hit the clouds in the air and shouted, "Hey! Can you do it? Do you want to help?" Having said that, the snake girl was really capable. She didn't have wings, she could still fly, and she could fight the vermilion bird for so long. Stop talking nonsense. This savage beast is a human sect. Realm is better than me. If you want to make a move, hurry up. Vermilion bird had no intention of joking with Lu Xuanjia, and said directly. The difference in strength between Renzong and Tier 9 is as great as the sky. This is why there are 9th and half masters in the world, but there is no real Tier 10 reason. In fact, there is no 9th and a half, nor 10. After the 9th, it should be a human sect. But the gap between the 9th tier and the realm of human sect is very large, and it can even be said that there is an essential difference. The span of this level is even larger than the gap between ordinary people and level 9 masters. People on Earth and planet don't know the division of realm behind, but they can perceive the qualitative change from one realm to another. They arrange the first 9 small realms directly in a simple and crude way of numbers, but between the 9th and 10th orders, because the gap is too big, there is no real 10th order in the world. A master like Wu Baicheng, compared to Tier 9 in strength, is too powerful to be confused with ordinary Tier 9, so an intermediate realm appeared, calling them Tier 9 and a half. If it is an ordinary 9th level master, he is like an ant in front of the human sect, and he can be killed with one finger. According to realm, Vermilion Bird is no more than Tier 9 at this time. With Buffin's history, he can compete with the masters of the human sect. But what Vermilion Bird was worried about was that the snake girl ran away, and she couldn't stop it. Such a master of human sect, if they escape to Earth Star, no one outside can stop it. From the short time of contact with the snake girl, this guy definitely came out of the uncivilized wild land. They are not civilized, and everything is only for survival and powerful service. In other words, as long as they want, they can do everything. Rao is Vermilion Bird, and at this time he also deeply realized what helplessness and anger mean. Its long inheritance memory tells it that this savage little beast is humble and small in front of it, like dust. But now, it has to be stubborn with this kind of thing. Sure enough, babies and toddlers just born, of course should have a good night's sleep. Why is it so miserable when it comes to its turn? It will be child labor at a young age. Lu Xuanji weighed the chessboard in his hand and drove it again, only to see Feng Yun push away, covering both Vermilion Bird and the snake girl into the chessboard world. With a thought, the peaks and ridges on the chessboard are like gathering, besieging the snake girl. Another sky thunder fell sharply and hit the snake girl. What makes people speechless is that the seemingly powerful sky thunder landed on the snake girl, and it was itchy, leaving no scars. This savage beast cultivates his body and is also a master of the human sect. You can't hurt her, just help me trap it, Vermilion Bird said, and then rushed into the sky with a loud noise, and saw the secret realm where the sun and the moon were gathered suddenly. It darkened for a while, the rays of the sun and the moon were all hidden, and countless starlights shone sharply. Vermilion Bird's small body disappeared, and then the stars in the sky connected, and the 7 star beasts sang in unison. Suddenly, the Vermilion Bird phantom suddenly appeared in the starlight. With a loud cry, the starlight Vermilion Bird sprayed flames at the snake girl. The snake girl, who was originally fighting more and more bravery and aroused her fierceness, was burned by the fire at this time, but she uttered a tragic roar. Although it was a human snaketail, she cried out in pain, not like a human, let alone a snake, but a roar like a beast. The scales on the snake girl's body were burnt and curled off, her hair disappeared almost instantly, and the skin on her arms, face, and body instantly became scarred and scary. However, it was just a sigh of fire. Vermilion Bird could no longer maintain this state. The body of the little fat bird fell from the sky, and the sky full of stars disappeared. At this time, it is still too weak to match its own functions. If you can't take up the power of the 7 places in the south, you can't be regarded as the true sacred beast, Vermilion Bird. The 4 sacred beasts are also the 4 divinities of the sky. Every time they appear in the world, they are the calamities of the great world and their own calamities. After suffering, the holy beast can return to its place and suppress the heavens. The snake girl went mad, broke through the locks of the chessboard, and fled into the distance. She was injured. She had never suffered such a serious injury since she was born. The snake girl who originally wanted to make the other party food, there was only a panic in her heart at this time. Flee. She must flee. She doesn't want to be food, she wants to live. She couldn't think of it anyway. The world after this passage was so secretive and so dangerous. In that fragile race, there are also individuals who accompany such a cruel race. Yes, at this time, Vermilion Bird in the eyes of Snake Girl, the only evaluation is brutality. A mere 9th rank could hit her badly. This is in their world, what a cruel race it must be to do it. However, Snake Girl is just a savage beast from a wild continent after all, and her knowledge is so low. Brutal. How can Vermilion Bird, one of the holy beasts, be judged as cruel? That is the existence of sacred. In front of the real Vermilion Bird, the entire world where the Snake Girl is nothing but a drop of dust. She should be thankful that what she ran into was only a young Vermilion Bird, still a beast, and returned to fan. If it is a real Vermilion Bird, she would have to turn into powder with a look. Lu Xuanji was a little upset when the Snake Girl broke through the chessboard without notice. He was a little distracted just now, and Vermilion Bird returned to his place and turned into the southern constellation. How shocking. Of course, even if he is not distracted, he will not necessarily be able to trap the Snake Girl. After all, the human sect is still good. In a hurry, Lu Xuanji took out the axe on his waist and threw it towards the Snake Girl. Ah! Just heard a scream echoing the entire secret realm, like a waterfall of blood falling in the air. There was no vision. Unlike a chessboard, it was mountains and waves. The small axe flew over, swung around in the air, and fell flat, just slashing on the Snake Girl's tail, cutting her in the waist. The thick snake tail of the bucket fell, but the Snake Girl's upper body still escaped. At the moment when the axe was cut down, the goddess clenched her fist and slammed into the air. The entire secret realm space oscillated, and the Snake Girl's upper body suddenly disappeared. This touched Lu Xuanji's knowledge blind zone, the power of space. Anyway, he didn't understand it now. Looking back and thinking about it, the difference between the masters of the human sect and the 9th rank is so big, and a few bizarre methods are quite normal. Lu Xuanji stepped forward with emotion and picked up the small axe that had fallen on the ground. Because this little axe couldn't be sacrificed, except that it was an axe, Lu Xuanji couldn't get any information from it. As for what is instructed by an arm, that is also impossible. Therefore, Lu Xuanji's first choice was actually a chessboard that had undergone preliminary sacrifices. But this little axe, by the way, always played a miraculous effect under his eagerness. An axe killed the mysterious turtle, and an axe chopped off the Snake Girl's tail. As for the Snake Girl, it is said that she specializes in cultivating the flesh, and she drives the chessboard magic treasures with all her strength, and she can't even break her defenses. If in the game, it might be a big boss whose own attack can only cause the system to force a little blood deduction. But the small axe went down with one axe, and it was chopped in half. Although half escaped, only half of remained. Lu Xuanji felt that she would probably be cold. Just as Lu Xuanji sighed, the place where the Snake Girl had escaped was the origin, and the entire secret realm space shook. What's wrong, cousin? Look at the sun, how did it go down? Behind him, everyone in the Lu family was in a panic. The earth is shaking, cracking, the sky is uncertain, the sun and the moon are falling, it is a doomsday scene. Zhu Shaok, you won't hang up, are you? Lu Xuanji woke up from his emotions in an instant. He thrust an axe back to his waist and picked up the Zushauk that had fallen to the ground. Seeing that it was half dead, he couldn't help but worry. Although he didn't know why he was worried, Vermilion Bird was the only one. Once this one was hung up, he could create another one. There was nothing to worry about if he wanted to. But sometimes, emotional matters are inaccurate, and creating another one will have a short lifetime memory of the Vermilion Bird, but I am afraid it is no longer the Vermilion Bird. It's okay, I can't die. Hearing Lu Xuanji's call, Vermilion Bird opened his eyelids and glanced at him. This secret realm is about to collapse. You use magic treasures to build a defensive enchantment. After a moment, Vermilion Bird continued. The snake girl ran away, and under that punch, the balance of the secret realm space was shaken. The secret realm space, which was originally formed by the collision of different worlds, was about to collapse. Moreover, after the collapse of the secret realm, it is still unknown which world it will fall into, and the way forward is unknown. But as long as it survives the danger of the collapse of the secret realm space, it is still safe for the time being. Vermilion Bird regrets it a bit. The snake girl can't hurt it, it is hurt by its own self-esteem. If it were not forcibly blending the stars and borrowing too much power from the stars, it would not get hurt. The impact of Vermilion Bird's impulse is far more than that. Let's put it this way, Jingsu is the first place among the 7 places in the south. Jingmuya has a total of 20 star officials, of which the main star official, well, contains 8 stars. Vermilion Bird's move just now made the entire southern Kisu respond. Its influence has attracted the attention of the strong in the entire universe. Including ordinary people in the earth and stars, some people may have noticed that there should be no starlight in the daytime, but for a moment, in broad daylight, they actually saw a little star flickering in the southern sky. In the eyes of ordinary people, this is naturally irrelevant. After all, the stars in the sky are so far away from them, just watching the excitement, and you can't let yourself eat a bite of rice and grow a pound of meat. But in the eyes of some bigwigs, this is terrible. Often the star changes, symbolizing the general trend of the world, or the birth of a wizard, a ghost, a genius, an emperor, or sage, which disturbs the situation. Or the world's forces are in turmoil, wars are about to rise, or the prosperous age is approaching. This is so special that the entire southern star has moved. What is the situation? What is the sign? Countless big guys said their heads were bald. The collapse of the secret realm is getting more and more severe. Those who have just entered the secret realm and started searching for available resources are confused. What's the situation? This is the first time in the 3 years since the new day that things have changed as soon as they entered the secret realm. This is inconsistent with the experience accumulated by the seniors. This is unscientific. At this time, Lu Xuanjia saw more human snake-tailed creatures, ran out from behind the hill, and fled in panic. Their strengths vary, from the 3rd and 5th to the 9th, but they are not as strong as the masters of the snake girl. Lu Xuanjia wanted to chase them down, but the cracking of the earth made him forget about other things at the moment, otherwise the people around him would definitely be finished. Lu Xuanji could only give up with a secret sigh, but he was somewhat subconsciously worried. So many snake people, if they appeared on the Earth star, I don't know what kind of madness and turmoil would be caused. It is not to be underestimated that just a snake man came up with such a thing as the original God teaching. Of course, Lu Xuanji also simply identified Meng Ke and others from the original religious religion based on the propaganda knowledge of the Ministry of Security. His understanding of the original religion is quite superficial, and he doesn't know, all this is just a misunderstanding. The so-called original religion is not so much established by snake people as it is established by human beings because of blindness and ignorance. After dark and dark, wind and clouds dissipating, mountains and forests dispersing and other doomsday-like scenes, everything finally settled. Zhu Shaoq seemed to be very tired. He had already fallen asleep by himself. Lu Xuanji put it in his pocket and looked at the other tribesmen he was protecting. How about it? I shouldn't be injured, right? No, thank you cousin. Well, thanks to Shao Qi's enchantment, but I don't know what happened to my father and them. Lu Xuanming worried. Lu Xuanjia looked at the scene in front of him at this time. In fact, it did not change much from when they were in the secret realm. The main reason is that the surrounding soil is very loose, the trees have collapsed a lot, and there are no birds and insects. It seems that they have fallen back to the main world from the small space of the secret realm. But with the words Vermilion Bird said before, Lu Xuanji was somewhat uneasy. I don't know which main world it will fall into. Vermilion Bird means that the emergence of secret realm is because the world converges and collides to form a node, and the secret realm formed by grabbing a small part of several worlds is equivalent to fragments of the world. The secret realm collapsed, and it does not necessarily fall to Earth Star. Because of the changes in the New Day and the emergence of the secret realm, all of this is driven by a mysterious force that is still unknown, and we don't know the specific circumstances of the world that formed the secret realm through collision. It may simply be that the two worlds collided unintentionally at a certain time, and the forces of the two worlds entangled and affected each other, forming a part of overlap, resulting in the emergence of the secret realm. It is also possible that there are more than two worlds. Having said that, this is not something that Lu Xuanji can touch and understand now. Even if he knows it, he can't do anything. You look for it separately and see if you can find someone else. It's best to confirm what this place is. Don't go too far, one person, one direction, gather here later. Lu Xuanji said to the people beside him. Good, okay, I'll go and take a look here. Everyone responded one after another, found a direction, and searched the past. Lu Xuanjia was aware of the creatures he had created before. Because the secret realm collapsed, Lu Xuanjia didn't care about them, so they collapsed on their own and fled for their lives. However, when he was idle at this time, Lu Xuanji thought that they would not be all dead. If they could find it back and let them explore the surrounding terrain, it would be much faster than these tribesmen. Before Lu Xuanji could retrieve these creatures, he saw a group of 5 people. Judging by his clothes, he was actually from the Ministry of Urban Security. Lu Xuanji was stunned for a moment, and then he was relieved. People from the Ministry of Urban Security appeared here, indicating that this place was still Earth Star. Unfortunately for so long, I finally got lucky once. However, Lu Xuanji didn't know. Speaking of luck, his luck may not be too good. Because Earth Star's spiritual chi resources have actually been exhausted to the point where it is more serious than that of the barren continent. The reason why the terrain, forests, grasslands, and oceans of the Earth and stars are still thriving today is because the entire Earth does not have a strong presence. On the other hand, the wild continent, although the resources are exhausted, there are still some powerful tribes like the Snake Man tribe, whose average strength is more than 100 times that of human beings. The spiritual chi they consume is more than 100 times that of human beings. In addition, because of the lack of resources, they continue to fight, which creates the harsh environment on the surface of the wild continent. Because Earth and Star reached a delicate balance at a certain time, everyone was weak, and there was no strong person plundering spiritual chi resources, and they didn't even know to plunder spiritual chi resources, so even if they were more depleted than the wild continents, they finally showed up. The appearance of prosperity in a peaceful and prosperous age. To put it simply, falling into any world, even the barren continent in the depletion period, can be said to be helpful to Lu Xuanji's cultivation. However, he accompanies the secret realm very accurately and landed at his hometown of Earth Star. This luck, that is red and purple is still black. Hey, brother, are you capable of exploring the new secret realm in Luan County? Can you tell us what happened? A member of the Urban Security Department saw that he had discovered the person and immediately shouted to Lu Xuanji from a distance. The secret realm collapsed and landed on the Earth, which had a huge impact on the surrounding area of Liang Mountain where the secret realm channel appeared. And the weaker impact is felt by almost the entire province and city, such as earthquakes, gusts, and so on. Therefore, Luan County and Jinghua City, which is affiliated with Luan County, sent people to check the situation as soon as possible. Don't you know me? Lu Xuanji asked them when they saw the people approaching. 2 men and 3 women, uniformed members of the city security guard, a standard search and rescue team, fully equipped, with some portable search and rescue equipment. Do you think you are a big star? How do we know you? Lu Xuanji asked back. There was a bit of ass in Li Jiji's eyes, rolled his eyes, and asked back. Immediately, he took out a small book from his clothes pocket. Name, hometown, address, should we inform your family? Are you injured? We can take you to the hospital. Jiji. When she interrogated Lu Xuanji, a companion next to her pulled her arm and whispered, "Don't tell me, this guy looks quite familiar." Lu Xuanji, fortunately, you are a person doing big things. How could you appear in a small place like Luan County? I have reason to suspect that you are related to the first secret realm accident. Another member of the security guard said. Lu Xuanji stretched out his hand and said. He had seen Lu Xuanji's related reports on the TV news, but it was 4 or 5 days ago, and he had not seen Lu Xuanji's related news broadcasts in the past few days. Moreover, Luan County and Xinchen City are some distance away. Although they are within the same province, there is still a distance of 200 to 300 kilometers. People here are naturally not very concerned about the news there. It was just said that it was such a person who destroyed the Sky City in Xinchen City. People were shocked by the strength of the high-rank ability, shocked by the appearance of the legendary beast Phoenix, and were quite curious about the inside story. But a few days ago, the official had refuted the rumors. The city in the sky was not destroyed by him, nor was it the Phoenix that appeared. Lu Xuanji was just an innocent passerby who happened to be photographed by the news media. The firebird that appeared was just a fierce beast with fire attributes. Phoenix, there are too many differences in details. As for the truth of the destruction of the Sky City, it is the handwriting of a foreign terrorist force. The Dragon Kingdom is ready to retaliate against that terrorist force and, although there have been various official rumors, it is not clear whether Lu Xuanji is a Tier 9 capable person, but his strength is not bad. This is still recognized in people's hearts. So, you want to arrest me? Lu Xuanji asked forgively. Don't, it's better not to be against me, right? As a person of mine, my mind is very simple. When I encounter something that doesn't make sense and cannot be solved, I will use violence. Don't dare. Zheng Fei lowered his head slightly, the original aggressiveness also disappeared. He knew that no matter whether this guy was the culprit of the secret realm accident or not, he wouldn't have his turn to arrest him. He couldn't afford to offend him. We are from the Luan County Security Guard. Our main task this time is to search for survivors at the scene of the accident. You are so strong, you should know the cause of all this, right? I hope you can describe to us the situation at that time. Zheng Fei was sincere and found out the cause of the accident. This was indeed one of their duties, but Lu Xuanji still shook his head. This shouldn't be something you can understand at your level. If you can contact a higher level boss than you, maybe I can talk to him. Lu Xuanji replied. Some snake people ran out. Maybe it is necessary to let people from the Ministry of Urban Security know. At Lu Xuanji's words, several members of the security guard were very angry, and they couldn't help but want to do something. This guy is absolutely terrible. How can he ridicule people face to face like this? I'll report it up. Zheng Fei stopped the players and said to Lu Xuanji. Do you still need our help? Then he asked formulaically. I thought Lu Xuanji would say no. After all, Lu Xuanji didn't look like something was going on, and with his strength, they might not be able to help. Who knows? Lu Xuanji replied. Yes. You are from Luan County. Do you know the Lu family? I hope you can help me find the people as soon as possible and make sure they are all right. The Lu family. Zheng Fei looked surprised for a moment. Lu Xuanji, the Lu family. A week ago, the ruthless people who shocked the entire country came from a small family like their Lu family in Luan County. Of course, we will confirm the situation with you at any time. Zheng Fei returned to his senses and nodded. Since he belongs to the Lu family, there is nothing left to say, only his requirements can be met. After all, sometimes Luan County officials still need to borrow the strength of the Lu family in Jingwutang, and sometimes they need their cooperation. The relationship should not be too rigid. The search and rescue team left, and Lu Xuanji waited for the return of the tribe who had just left. When I was bored, I saw a 3-leaf blue flower next to me. This is a second-order spiritual herbs recorded in the spiritual fetish book published in the second year of the new day. It can be taken directly or in soup. The ability of ascension has a certain effect. The secret realm collapsed, and the ground, forests, and spiritual objects in it all seemed to have fallen to Liang Mountain. Lu Xuanji could perceive that the air on Liang Mountain seemed a little different from when he first arrived in the morning, and it was fresher and more pleasant. Through the art of royal beast, Lu Xuanji was able to capture the weak spiritual qi floating around him. It turns out that this kind of thing really exists, and there were some cheats on the earth and stars before, but they couldn't be realized from the first step, and it made people bald. What a breath, I don't feel any breath. After 2 days of training, Emma had a flatulence in her stomach. It turns out that not everyone has no talent and can't feel it, but really doesn't. As if suddenly thinking of something, Lu Xuanji took out Vermilion Bird from his pocket, and Vermilion Bird fell asleep, as if dead. If it wasn't for its small chest and beating, Lu Xuanji would have to find the system to recreate one. There is a method to assist beast pets to heal injuries in The Art of the Beast. Lu Xuanji stuffed the spiritual herbs he just found into Vermilion Bird's mouth and tried to use the method in The Art of the Beast to heal Vermilion Bird. It's just, maybe it's limited by his low strength, or it may be that Vermilion Bird is too boofin, with little effect. Just when Lu Xuanji was a little upset, Zhu Shaoq suddenly widened her eyes. I said, this fairy is not a vegetarian. Lu Xuanji had just shown a hint of joy on his face, and he was replaced by speechlessness. The corners of his mouth twitched and he muttered, your sister made the labor and the management of vain worry. There is also the question of whether or not to eat a vegetarian diet. It seems that you don't look like something is wrong. By the way, if you are not vegetarian, you would spit out my spiritual herbs. I just stuffed it in a bit, you shit, how can you say that you don't become a vegetarian, and you just swallowed it all? Since you are not a vegetarian, then give it back to me. This seems to be a second-order spiritual herbs, giving me ascension strength should not be bad. Lu Xuanji reached out to catch the spiritual herbs that were about to disappear completely in Vermilion Bird's mouth. The little fat bird twisted his head, turned to one side, and yelled, the second-order spiritual herbs are too spicy to match my noble master. This fairy reluctantly accepted it. Lu Xuanji's eyes jumped, what do you think it looks like? Big fist in casserole. Seeing that Zhu Shaoq was so alive and well, Lu Xuanji threw it away and flew into the sky by himself to check the situation of Liang Mountain. Hey, come back, you lost your valuables. Zhu Shaoq jumped straight, raised her head and yelled at Lu Xuanji. Lu Xuanji frowned and was a little surprised, what's the matter with you? Can't you fly? Zhu Shaoq skipped her feet without answering. Indeed, you can't fly. Although the injury was not serious, but because of a small accident, he could not fly. In the past, they used to fly with the power of the star, which was given by their functions habitually. The speed was so fast that within one day, you could travel to the 10 places of 9 heavens. Of course, there are no so-called 9 heavens anymore. However, I have experienced forced homecoming in the secret realm and borrowed too much the power of the star. After being overloaded, I have been unable to borrow the power of the star for some time recently. If you can't use the power of star, you can only fly by yourself. Vermilion Bird was ashamed to talk about it. I don't know if it was because he was too fat and overweight. Anyway, it flapped its wings like an ordinary bird, but it couldn't fly. It could only fly 1 meter in the air. The dignified Vermilion Bird turned out to be a local chicken. This kind of dark history must not be let others know. Especially Azure Dragon and White Tiger, they will definitely laugh at own. Lu Xuanji couldn't imagine that a bird could not fly. I thought that Vermilion Bird was arguing with him. After all, this guy had no awareness of himself as a bird, and from time to time incarnate as Tsunere. It might also be that she didn't want to fly, so she acted like a baby and asked Lu Xuanji to pick it up. However, when Lu Xuanji flew away, he saw that Vermilion Bird didn't really follow him. It was not until it was confirmed that Vermilion Bird really could not fly that Lu Xuanji finally laughed out of a pig cry. Ha ha, laughing at me, Vermilion Bird can't fly. Hey, you are really ashamed of birds. As a bird, you can't fly, ha ha. After a ruthless ridicule of Vermilion Bird, Lu Xuanji still had to turn back, lift Vermilion Bird up, and flew high together. Vermilion Bird stood on Lu Xuanji's shoulders, clutching his clothes tightly. I don't know why, suddenly I can't fly, so I am a little afraid of heights. Hey, Zhu Shaoq, are you crazy? You let go. Lu Xuanji cried out in pain, and yelled at Vermilion Bird. Vermilion Bird's claws scratched his shoulders with blood stains. Sure enough, I was so worried about it, and it didn't seem like something was wrong with its claws. Above the sky, Lu Xuanji had a panoramic view of the Liang Mountain. Today's Liang Mountain is completely different from the previous Liang Mountain, which was overdeveloped by humans and has a winding road that goes up the mountain. Originally there were sparse trees, but the loess and rocks of Banla mountain wall were exposed, and the whole hill looked particularly ugly. But now, the entire mountain peak has been completely covered by emerald green. On the winding road, the roots of a large tree burst, and the road has almost been abandoned. The whole hill is shrouded in a layer of mist, and there is a feeling of, the mountains in the landscape painting have jumped out of reality. It's hard to describe. Lu Xuanji has a wonderful feeling about the mountains in front of him, spirituality. And in the hill in front of him, Zhang Junjiang of Jingwutang was facing a 7th order tree demon with a gray head. A member of the Lu family, Lu Sheni, sat on a bare spar mine with a dazed expression. He appeared here after the accident happened. No, it should be said that this spar mine appeared under his ass. Others searched around blankly and found a lot of elixir and spiritual fruit. Only, why haven't I seen this elixir? It's not written in the magical illustration, but it seems that there is spiritual qi, and there are not many spiritual qi, probably equivalent to half level. Someone squatted on the side of the road, frowned at the grass in front of him, and muttered to himself. What bullshit elixir, isn't this dog's tail grass? You don't even know this. Another person who was walking with him followed and said with contempt immediately. Look again. However, when he took another look, he couldn't help but squatted on the side of the road like the previous man, and studied the grass in front of him. It shouldn't be. Panacea. Dog's tail grass. It's impossible for the elixir to look like this. There is no such thing as the backside down spiritual fetish illustration book. But the dog's tail grass, it is impossible to have spiritual qi. Hey, I finally found someone. You are. At this time, another gray-headed victim walked up here. Seeing 2 people in front of him, he couldn't help but look happy. He was very eager to figure out what was in front of him. Status. However, before he was finished, he just watched from a distance. What are those 2 people doing? This pose. Hey, are you shit? What's the matter with you? Even though it's in the barren mountains and ridges, you can't urinate and urinate wherever you want, it just spoils the reputation of our capable people. The newcomer roared angrily. 3 minutes later. How come? It shouldn't be. 3 people squatted beside the dog's tail flower swaying in the wind, frowning, and muttering to the dog's tail grass, looking puzzled. The security guards searched the mountains and forests, but for the Jinghua City security guards, the search and rescue work was only incidental. It was more about recording the various changes in Liang Mountain since the secret realm happened. These materials will provide reference for similar incidents in the future, and will also provide help for the in-depth study of secret realm. As for the outskirts of Liang Mountain, after the accident, the security guards came to the scene as soon as they were blocked, and no outsiders were allowed to enter the mountain. At this time, when a member of the city guard was patrolling the outer blockade, a strong wind was suddenly coming. Brush. The leaves shook, and they fell like rain, leaving a deep scratch on the thick branches of the canopy arms. At the moment when he perceives the danger, the city guard's gold element ability person has a sharp blade to attack. However, the attack failed and flew to the branches. A half-human, half-snake man pressed him to the ground, and the moment he shot, he broke the neck of the city guard. The power of snake people is too strong. In terms of strength, their power can be compared with those of great power. But not only strength, but also super high physical defense, more keen intuition, more proficient fighting skills. Snake people's strength is learned from life and death struggles. This also causes that ordinary people with the same rank ability are like a rookie who has just learned to fight in front of them, and they are not their opponents at all. What's even more frightening is actually the behavior of snakes. They are eating people. For the wild beasts of the wild continent, there is no difference between humans and animals. The humans in their eyes are probably just a weak and cowardly race, and such a race is reduced to food in the wild continent. There is nothing strange. The number 211 in the southeast has lost contact. There may be a dangerous situation. You send a team to check it out. The commander-in-chief, the team responsible for monitoring the blockade and search and rescue of the entire Liang Mountain, turned back and said to others. Everyone in the team is very busy, even if they are non-commissioned officers in the command team. It seems that they only have to sit here and deal with the information that is fed back from the field. But all the commands have been effectively executed at this time. An exploration team quickly formed, 10 members, with some modern power technology weapons, rushed to the 211 team lost contact coordinates. What? The reconnaissance team walking in the front suddenly screamed, and the whole team became nervous and looked at her. Fang Li, what are you doing? Don't forget, you are a member of the city guard, not a small star. If you are so surprised, you may invite danger to us. The captain returned to his senses and whispered. Fang Li scolded, although her voice was low, her tone was very severe. Captain, I found it. Come and see, Fang Li said, covering her mouth. The captain frowned and waved to the team members. 2 team members went forward to check with him, and the others were on the spot. The moment he saw the scene, even if he was an experienced captain, he almost couldn't help the stomach rushing and he vomited it out. Come here, Wuji. The captain slowed down and shouted to a member of the team. Exploration teams like them are generally equipped with complete equipment. Wuji was a forensic doctor before the New Day. After the New Day, he went to a special training school to study. Accurately determine what kind of attack the deceased was killed by what kind of beast. However, when Wuji saw the situation in front of him, he couldn't help being silent. Captain, what are you telling me to see? This is beyond the scope of his ability. Forensic doctors also need to have a corpse to be able to examine it. There is nothing but a torn and bloodied uniform, some broken bones, and blood stains. The entire exploration team, the atmosphere became very tense moment, everyone was silent, tense preparedness around the scene to take pictures, record video. More frightening, perhaps lost to the number of players as only the first 211 cases, followed by the commander-in-chief received more team players lost to the message. But it is impossible to send more exploration team coordinates of each point probe the case, not enough manpower. Therefore, only through the means of communication, remind the players pay attention to safety nearby, waiting to report the first team squad exploration. The entire secret realm accident risk level again ascension, some of the information archives, already was classified as confidential, not everyone can view. This event is obviously not a mere city guards can be resolved, have to continue to report the security headquarters in the city. By this time, several exploration terrain of land outside the family who returned to the place, but also brought back a security guard of 5 teams. But, Miss Yuan Kai was gone, back to the place of land and family who did not see him, being anxious to do. I saw Miss Yuan Kai day behind with a pair of blue wings slowly falling down from the sky. Profiled abilities. Ethnic people gaping at the scene, muttered. Although Lu Zong Lu Kai has been home for a few days, but their understanding of the Miss Yuan Kai are too little. It seems most of the people all right, we directly back to the family, 6 Winds Mountain of Things, Lu Jia short period of time not to participate. Miss Yuan Kai fell to the ground, for Lu Shui and Lu Xuanming, who said. They went out searching for this trip, not only to get back a search and rescue team also recovered the several other tribe. But Miss Yuan Kai did not want them to stay in the mountain's 6 winds. The ultra-small secret realm has landed the star, blend in with 6 Winds Mountain. He just looked around the situation from the sky. In a short time, the mountain should have 6 winds compared to the rest of the star more strong spiritual chi. Elixir, spar veins, something which should be ultra-small secret realm appeared also will appear in 6 Winds Mountain. But there are some things should not happen, for example, the snake people. Clearly, with the snake against the danger of a return far greater than the secret realm of the ultra-small. In terms of the strength of family land, and now the best option is to stay out, do not participate. That is a big deal to give up ultra-small secret realm, alive. Will it be possible to have more income? Of course, Miss Yuan Kai, after all, the master of the house is not a homeland, he will just make a suggestion. If you do not accept Lu Feng, forget it, he did not insist. But, when the time fared miserable, do not at once to help find him. Lu Feng is not at this time to be looking back family land among the people. Miss Yuan Kai with Lu Shui and et al. 1 step ahead, leaving 6 Winds Mountain, returned to the town. And told the security guard who found Lu Feng Lu Jiacheng other members, remember to tell their own opinions and let them return home as soon as possible. Until the evening, more than 200 secret realm of land and house, has come back more than half. Patriarch Lu Feng is also back, is their positive contact with the security guard, access to relevant news. Six Winds Mountain. Hey, I heard Six Winds Bear Mountains to find a spar mine, a preliminary assessment, at least can produce more than 300 tons of fine crystal mine. Said Jing Wu-Tang Mountain people are still Six Winds fourth order to find a panacea, a cure all that's down. You can make the fourth order those who can properly due to rise to fifth order magic pill in less than a week. Miss Yuan Kai accepted the proposal. Lu Feng stood looking at the direction of the outside look of melancholy Six Winds Mountain Foreland Villa windows, constantly muttering to himself. Look at his expression, that he now cannot wait to fly back to the mountain to pick up Six Winds' baby. Secret realm, although the risk and opportunities, but the joy of picking up the baby, always dilute all fear. Any elixir, fierce beast, and crystal mine are all fine. Elixir can be of the same level as the ascension ability, and long-term use of fierce beast meat also has this effect. Some high-grade crystals can also be sold at a good price. If you are lucky and find a ruin that may contain the legendary magic treasures and cheats, it will be even more profitable. It is rumored that the research and development of space pockets, an important project of major research institutes, originally originated from a giant secret realm. Someone discovered a relic, including magic treasures that used space technology. Of course, it is almost impossible for the remains of the ultra-small secret realm to exist. Sitting on the sofa, Lu Xuanji had listened to Lu Feng's nagging for a long time. Have you read their death data? Lu Xuanjia asked Lu Feng helplessly. Lu Feng kept in touch with the security guards of Luan County and could get some internal information, such as how many people died, what forces did the dead come from, and where did they die. Lu Feng was silent when he heard Lu Xuanjia's words. He saw it, so he accepted Lu Xuanjia's suggestion. Doesn't this make people complain? Old grievances. Can't sit and watch Jin Shan, he complains. Having said that, thanks to Lu Xuanji's timely advice, all members of the Lu family, after being found by the search and rescue team, accepted Lu Xuanjia's advice and left Liang Mountain as soon as possible, so the number of victims was not large. On the other hand, in Jingwutang, many people insisted on finding a baby, so they died on Liang Mountain. The place with the largest number of deaths is the open pit crystal mine. For humans, the energy of the spark can't be used for the ascension ability level, but for the snake people in the wild land, the energy contained is a good thing. They have good teeth, slightly crispy, and chicken flavor. Therefore, the open pit crystal mine is almost the place where snakes gather the most. Now the secret realm has collapsed, and the secret realm channel on the barren continent should have also collapsed. These snake people are not like a ghoulie, who have the ability to break open spaces and cannot go back. They should stay entrenched in Liang Mountain for a long time, and even spread out. Oh, leave tomorrow. You'd better not participate in Liang Mountain. Closed-door training is best at home during this time. Lu Xuanjia continued. He came to Luan County for two purposes. The first is the ashes of his parents. If he is not assured, he has to check it out for himself to make sure that he is well settled. The second is to see if the cubs left behind by these grandpas can learn more about the mysterious grandpa. Now, the ashes of the parents are also settled, and grandpa. He feels that these uncles and aunts have not yet understood grandpa by himself. At least, I already knew that grandpa had rushed out of the solar system. Leave tomorrow. Why are you so anxious? Right now at Liang Mountain. Lu Feng was taken aback when he heard it, and said quickly. Although he didn't get along for a few days, he is already a little accustomed to relying on Lu Xuanjia. After all, this comes from the security of a ninth order master. Is Liang Mountain worth my stop? Lu Xuanji just sneered and asked rhetorically. There have been some special changes on Liang Mountain. The first large-scale secret realm accident, the entire secret realm collapsed and fell on Liang Mountain. The research on secret realm is very valuable. But Lu Xuanji was not interested. Yes, you are a tier 9 master after all, I will let them all come tomorrow and send you off. Lu Feng nodded and replied. I almost forgot, of course, it is impossible for a 9th order master to have the same vision and thoughts as him. The Lu family couldn't keep Lu Xuanji, it was pretty good to be able to be so close. No need. Lu Xuanjia rejected Lu Feng's kindness. It was not a big deal to leave alone. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.